everybody. Welcome back to the latest episode, number 41 of the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast, the unfiltered podcast for hockey parents. No politics, no sugarcoating, just real hockey talk for parents in the trenches.
Did you just F that up?
I did.
You did?
I did.
But it's okay. Go with it.
It's just real
Nobody would have known unless I... Exactly.
For hockey parents in the trenches.
Yeah. No, it's listen,
hey,
it's all good.
It happens.
It does.
Mistakes. They do happen.
And you
Except
roll
they're not
with it.
allowed when my kid's playing hockey and they're on the ice. They're not allowed to make mistakes.
Isn't it funny how true that is? That is such a true statement.
Do as I say, not as I do, man. Come on.
Isn't it awful? That's such a bad thing for a parent to say. But
which part?
Both.
All of it.
Everything.
Anyway, so there it is. I made a mistake.
No, listen. It's all good. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Not a whole lot. Started a new job this week, so that's got me on a new schedule, which I'm still adjusting to, but all is good.
Nice, man.
So that's new and
it's
also
throwing
exciting.
A little wrench into our interviews, but that's okay. We will figure it out.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's
not a bad thing.
No, but nothing's changed on whatever. It doesn't matter. Maybe it has.
No, it hasn't.
Not yet. Just I'm sure it will.
Just logistically, we just need to figure some other things out.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not a problem. You know?
It's good to see you, man. I feel like it's been a minute.
Likewise, buddy. Likewise. How was your weekend?
Yeah. My weekend was a first. And what is that first? It was Orly took Otto to his showcase, which was they were at where were they? Revolution Ice, out in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And not that she hasn't taken him before, but I also was with Noah, and she had a super busy schedule. I did not even see 3 of his games.
Got it.
Out of the 4, and then I watched the last one.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was different. And
nice, man.
Yeah, my daughter's cheerleading. She her town team is going to the Super Bowl of the local Super Bowls.
I heard that actually. I was at the skills competition skills session last night, and I actually got to sit with your lovely wife for an hour, and she mentioned that to me.
Yeah,
I did know that. I did.
Yeah. So that was that was good. Whatever. But as far as hockey goes, I don't know. Otto, the team did not have a great weekend. I mean, it just continues to be.
He mentioned that to me yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, tough. The kids are not necessarily gelling.
Okay, still early. Not even Thanksgiving yet.
No, listen. It doesn't mean they're not going to be much better by the end of the season. I think I would have thought by now there would have maybe been a little bit more chemistry there, but
okay.
You know, I think they went 1-3 on the weekend, if I remember correctly.
Tough teams.
I didn't even see 3 of the games, man. I don't know. They definitely spotted one team a couple goals like off the hop, which never helps.
That's tough.
I think so. They also had, and you had mentioned your upcoming Dom's upcoming showcase. Weekend. You have the same schedule. They had 7 a.m. and then 4 p.m.
We do have we have a bad schedule.
So that was both Saturday and Sunday. And so it's like they got out late-ish on Friday, early games Saturday. Then they have the whole day. No pool, not allowed on this team. Not allowed to go to the pool. Maybe you can go, but you can't go in.
Gotcha. Says the coach or says the parents?
Says the coach.
Okay.
No pool. But probably running around playing 2-hand touch and top golf all afternoon is probably okay.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, not really. No. But don't know about that. But anyway,
it's funny. I used to be a real stickler for no pool. I'm not so sure it matters now.
Well, look, I will say unnecessary expenditure of energy or an excessive amount of energy expenditure in between games is not great. But I mean, if you're not going to allow pool, then you should really think, well, I shouldn't allow other things either.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's my thought.
We should do an episode or a segment on that.
From a pool in a hotel?
I mean, I suppose we could do it from a pool. I meant just, I mean, we could. I meant we should do a segment like, listen, what you're saying right now is not a bad idea. That's not a terrible idea. We should do it from a pool in a hotel on a hockey weekend.
And see how tired we are to record a podcast afterwards. And if we have juice, then the kids should be allowed to do it
That's
too.
right. Then they should be allowed to do it. No, but we should actually do like a myth episode, like dispel the myths.
Busters.
Like a Mythbuster episode, right?
Ooh.
Not the worst idea. I know. I'll be here all week.
I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat and I'm going to figure out all the myths.
Listen, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea, and kind of, listen, cool idea though, for right?
No, I hear you, man.
You like that?
Yeah, I think part of what we're talking about right now is just like there's certain things that probably get singled out, and it's not like I'm not finding the right words, but like comparative or substitute activities are like not when they're maybe just as much, if not more, taxing. Anyway,
I mean, listen,
maybe nutrition too. Orly was mentioning to me that
maybe you shouldn't go to McDonald's and Burger King while you're away on right?
No, what about Skittles for breakfast? Like, does that fall into a positive nutritional plan?
No.
No, it doesn't. No, not ideal.
Do you know somebody that eats Skittles for breakfast when they're on a hockey weekend?
Anecdotally, I understood that there were kids eating Skittles for breakfast.
Got it.
Okay. But then, so hold on for a second. So let's also put this into context.
I'm listening.
Mythbuster, Jamie.
I'm listening.
So Skittles, we could probably look at the nutritional facts of a pack of Skittles, and then we could probably also look at what a waffle out of the waffle machine with like a whole shitload of whipped cream plus
also probably not the
calorie count looks like, and are we really any different?
No, I don't think so.
In part.
One, you're going to have a massive sugar crash from. The other, depending on how much syrup
you're going to vomit and have a sugar crash.
Right.
No, so but honestly, dude, last season, the waffles that some of these kids would make at like whatever hotel, like the amount of whipped cream and nonsense that went on top, I was shocked.
Yeah. Do you remember our Ben DeBlock episode?
How could I forget? Epic.
Well, exactly, right? I don't remember if we brought up the waffle batter guy from the
waffle batter guy is awesome. No, I have no idea.
All right, so I thought we mentioned it on the podcast with Ben, but maybe I'm wrong. So my older one was with us at New England Sports Center. I think we were up there for like the Flame Showcase, the Minutemen Flame Showcase in Massachusetts. So we're at the Marriott right across from New England Sports Center.
That's a sick commute.
Yeah. Walk right across the street to the rink is not the worst thing in the world. But one morning before one of our games, my older one, Luca, turns to Ben and goes,
"Oh yeah, you mentioned this.
Hey, Mr. DeBlock," he goes, "check this out." And he pointed out a guy that was literally like dispensing the batter from those, from those machines.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to then pour into the waffle maker, right? Well, he was dispensing the batter into the little cup and just shooting them right down.
That is disgusting.
Right down the gullet, man.
Right down the hatch.
Dude, Luca actually took a video of it. There's actually a video on
can we post that?
Sure, why not?
We should.
I would.
That was gross.
I'm not sure if it was a hockey parent. It might have
Doesn't matter.
It wasn't one of ours, like I said, tell you that. But yeah. So shooting waffle batter. Raw waffle batter.
Gnarly.
Gross. But yeah, I see what you're saying. The difference between a bag of Skittles and one of those waffles. I'm not a nutritionist, but my guess is they're probably both not the greatest for you.
No. You could eat equally as poor at one of those, like breakfast buffet situations as you could at like convenience store candy counter.
You're not wrong about that.
Probably.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but before we go any further, let's call it partners, right? Howie's Hockey, Crazy 10.
Go
Yep.
get your
Place your
gear.
order. Oh, holidays are upon us. Yo, check out Howie's. Get some gear for your kids, for your family, your friends, your loved ones.
Love it.
Use
Christmas
Crazy
time is
10.
coming. That's right.
What?
Christmas time's coming.
Yo, the
Holiday
lights are out in
times, right?
effect, man. Yeah.
Right? I mean, go get your gear, go get your stuff, go stick some stuff under the tree for the boys and girls,
That's
right?
it.
But yeah, man, Crazy 10. Love
Yep.
Howie's hockey.
Yeah. And then Pro Stride.
Angelo Sirs.
Angelo Sirs. Finally did it. You done did it, sir.
We did do the interview with Angelo
We
Sirs.
finally recorded it. It
we
came
did.
through.
It did. And let's see. We're not sure when we're actually gonna drop it in what episode, but it is in the queue along with a couple other people.
Yeah. That was a great interview. Looking forward to releasing that. But that
Pro
was
Stride
fun, CHD 10, 10% off.
10% off. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
10% off of clinics.
Yep.
Check it out. Thanksgiving is around the corner. You might have one in your area. So check them out. Pro Stride Elite Skating.
If the New Jersey Devils trust him,
so should you.
So should you.
You got to get the scoop on Jack Hughes, brother.
Dude,
what
don't
the
even
fuck?
Get me started. Like what? He's such a bonehead. I mean,
listen, it was a freak accident.
Yeah,
a freak accident can happen to anyone, bonehead or non-bonehead.
Yeah, freak accident. Mm-hmm. I'll believe that.
Your audio your audio just got much louder. Did you change something?
Actually,
for the better. Whatever.
Did it? Yeah, I don't know what I did, but good. I'm glad that it got louder. Nice.
Everyone in the universe needed to hear you call Jack Hughes a bonehead
apparently
on full volume.
Yes. I will believe that was a freak accident when Jack Hughes plays a full season.
Okay. Well, listen, you just got to drink Gato and chill. If anything bad happens, you just got to drink Gato and chill.
Oh God, I feel like
that's the recipe.
I feel like Quinn needs to come here in the worst way to like curb his younger brother. I feel like that has to happen. Am I wrong?
Dude, can you imagine if all three of them were on the same team? That'd be pretty.
I think it's gonna. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. Pretty
cool.
Pretty sure it's gonna happen next season because Quinn is a free agent and he is not going to resign back where he is.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's coming.
Okay, well let's hope.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, man.
And then Athletic Performance Insight API for all the listeners out there. If you're still thinking, mulling over video analytics, data for your team, give them a call or send them an email or fill out the contact form. Whatever you got to do. Check out athleticperformanceinsight.com.
Mention Crazy Hockey
Dads. Get in touch for no other reason, just to learn about the system.
That's right.
They'll tag a game for free. Give you a tour of the platform. Super helpful. We're using it for Otto's team. Coaches love it. Really helps organize,
That's great.
Clips, you can aggregate all of like your breakouts and your zone entries and turnovers, and you can kind of look at those on a loop, right? So you can see one after another and you can see patterns. It's awesome. So Athletic Performance Insight API, check them out for all of your analytic needs.
That's right. $100 value, right?
Yep. So just mention Crazy Hockey Dads and you get that 10% off.
Yep.
So those are our partners.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else is going on hockey wise, other than Jack Hughes being out for 2 months?
Well, what else hockey wise? My beer league team is off to our worst start ever.
Are you?
Well, since I've been a part of the team, yeah.
Oh, for the century? What are you guys?
Right now, I think we're 1-5.
Yikes.
Nice. Yeah, it's not good. We won the league last season, quote unquote season, 2 seasons per year.
That's right. You did. You guys like the blue condors or something like that? The blue
Thunderbirds.
Pigeons,
get with it, dude.
Sorry, Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
Blue though, right? Blue?
Absolutely.
Right, because why else what other color would a Thunderbird be?
It's only blue.
It's clearly. I don't know what I was thinking.
Anyway, but no, in all seriousness, hockey-wise,
1-5, huh?
What?
1-5, huh?
Yeah, dude. And you know what sucks? It sucks when you have a game and you got we literally had 5 skaters. One, not this past week, like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, that sucked. So there's only so much you can do when you got 5 skaters for the whole game.
Tough, bud. That's definitely tough.
Yeah, we're fighting for some players. So in any event, we should come good by the end of the season, but not off to a great start. How about you? How about you? What's up with
What's up?
the dominator defenseman?
Yeah, so we played this past weekend. We had a tough game on Saturday. Didn't go so well. Really got outplayed. You know,
The
our kid.
team at this
Oh
point you're
yeah, oh
talking about.
yeah,
You're not talking about
100%.
Dom specifically. The team
No,
at
he
large.
he he was the entire team did not want to show up for whatever reason.
And
You
was
know,
the other team far superior, or it was more like they were a little better and we didn't show up? Like,
they
if
were
you
a
played
little
them
better
again,
and we didn't show up. Listen, we lost to them like 4-3, like
oh, that's
at the beginning
close.
of the season. No, at the beginning of the
Oh,
season.
oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, this time I think we lost 5-3 or 6-4. It was by two.
I mean,
Um,
that's not.
yeah, listen, listen,
It's not a
it's not,
shellacking.
it's not. But if you had seen the game, it
You would have
was
been
not as
like
close as.
the score reflected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
copy.
It was definitely not.
What was
The
Dom's
kid.
plus minus?
I don't know actually. He didn't play well. He was very out of sorts. He's been out of sorts a lot recently. It's funny.
Wait,
I
and
know.
you're talking about pre and post move to defense? Because pre
Yeah,
move there
yeah.
was, yeah, and then
No,
that hasn't
hasn't.
necessarily changed.
Correct. He's still not, and he'll tell you. He says, like I have a hard time, like handling the hockey puck. So something's going on with him. I don't know what
Huh.
it is. I don't know if it's like an anxiety thing or something like that. But what we're like, remember when I don't remember what episode it was, but it was an episode where I told everybody exactly what happened to Dominic when we were down at the Rockets.
Yeah,
That seems to be creeping back into the situation.
really.
Yeah, very
Oh, I'm
similar
sorry to hear that,
situation.
dude.
So, well, listen, we got to figure out what the story is. Nancy and I are not sure what the deal is. On Sunday, he played better,
Yeah.
right? Um, we against a team we should have beaten like 10-0. I
Mm.
think we won like 3-0.
That
So
happens though.
it does, no question about it. The coach was not happy uh with the overall team. Dominic is is not thrilled about the position at the moment.
Mm.
He actually asked mid game to go
To
back
move
to
back,
offense. He did.
and he got a big fat no.
Big fat no. So Dominic is not a happy camper. And it's funny too because I remember that we did an episode where um I think we did an episode where your kid got moved from say forward to D or D to forward,
Yeah.
right? And how to handle that as a parent, right?
Yeah.
So I was definitely on board with this at first.
Uh oh.
Um, I was on board with it at first, but the role is not being clearly defined.
Well, defense has a pretty specific
Mm,
definition, but you're saying within the context of being a defender?
yeah, I think where Dominic is not happy is so I think the idea was for him to go play defense and be able to be offensive,
Oh, and they're
right? And
right
now all of a
reining that in.
sudden that seems to, be getting questioned. Dominic got sat twice, because of he was pushing the puck too far. So so he's
Oh,
not.
I mean, like
Yeah,
he was rushing the puck and he
he
was
was
playing
right.
too advanced.
He was getting offensive. So he's listen. So he's not a happy camper. So he's going to talk to the coach himself, though. I
That's
told him. I said, "Bud," I
important.
said, "Go." I said, "You go." I said, "Next time you see him," I said, "You go have a conversation with him, and you guys figure it out." Well,
He's okay with that.
yeah, it was his idea because he
Good.
knows he knows I'm not going to do it. He knows that's not my. He knows that that's not my.
It's not the way you roll.
Right.
Got to
You know.
handle your business.
Right. So yeah. So listen. You
Shit.
know. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Listen. He'll figure it out. But I
Well,
think it's good that he's handling his own stuff.
yeah, I
That's
totally
good.
agree. Real quick though, it doesn't have to be real quick, but um, you had started talking about how we had addressed when players get moved from one position to
Hmm.
another,
Yeah.
like as a parent,
Yep.
how
Absolutely.
what that's like. I went through it
Yeah,
with
sure.
Otto. That was self-inflicted on his part,
Yeah.
and that worked
Oh,
out
yeah.
for like at least 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, you started saying you were on
Yeah.
board with it at first, and now you're questioning it. What is that? Is this
Well,
because of Dom's response to it, or likewise that you see the fact that he was sat, like you're kind of taking issue with
you
that it
know,
was like mixed signals, or maybe,
so you have a kid learning a new position,
yeah,
right? Literally learning a new position. He's never played there before. So, instead of sitting him, maybe it's a conversation. Hey, listen, I need you to not rush the puck so much or only in certain situations. I would have thought that would have been a learning,
like a teachable
a
moment.
teachable moment, right? As opposed to just, you know, sitting him on the bench.
Well, did
So
Dom
he's
say
been very
that
confused.
there was no conversations leading up to sitting him? Like, did he get warned?
Uh,
Do you know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's weird.
I could be wrong, but I don't think. Listen, he's going to find out. He's going
Right,
to
he
talk to
will.
the coach, and they'll figure it out, and they'll figure it out, which
Yeah.
is kind of how I like it.
Okay.
Um, but as a parent, it's an interesting situation.
Do you feel, well, look, it's all very new. We're only
Mhm.
talking like a handful of weeks, a handful of games. Like
Oh yeah,
sample
sure.
size
No,
is
it's still
very
very no, it's
small.
still very very new. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And just to maybe my first thought was like, well, are
Mhm.
you start to think like he's wasting his time back there if he's not being allowed to see the
I don't
offensive
know.
side of the game? But then like
I don't know, Scott.
my
My
follow
kid,
up,
I
yeah,
can
go ahead.
almost guarantee you that my kid is not a stay-at-home defenseman.
Okay, fine. But what my
Right?
kind of butt there, and not having seen it, not
Yeah,
knowing,
yeah,
not being too aware, is that like
yeah.
if I move a kid to defense,
Mhm.
like there's a lot to like kind of get used to and reps that need to be
100%.
put in to kind of
Yep.
learn the defensive side of the game.
Yeah,
So
100%.
if it's like, listen, guy, I don't want you to necessarily rush the puck so much at the moment. I need you to focus on these defensive things during the
Mhm.
game. Once
Yeah.
you get a little more comfortable, like, yeah, we'll take the leash off. Again, not, I don't know if that's the kind of thing that's going on, but yeah, man,
I don't either. You know what I mean? I- you know, um, I, I'm not. I don't. We'll see. Listen, like anything else,
you're gonna find out.
we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So listen, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, so we had a rough hockey weekend. The team didn't play great either game. Listen, there's a big showcase this weekend, so the team has an opportunity to kind of
Oh
like
shit, you're out of
to
town this weekend.
turn. Mm, yeah,
Maybe not. Maybe not. You're gonna pull a Scott and stay home with Luca.
we'll see. You know, so the team has 4 hard games this weekend.
So that's like that's like 8 parental meltdowns. Like that's the math on that. It's like
You
fucking
know,
dog years.
I gotta tell you, I've been getting better for some reason as
Yeah, the gray
I
hairs on your chin tell a different story.
I know, seriously. I mean, it's just me being lazy.
Yeah, old man.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, like, I've been getting better with watching games. I actually don't mind it.
Yeah,
Even
when you have a blindfold on.
no, even if he plays bad, it is what it is. Like that's kind of
Uh,
where what I'm realizing from all of the interviews we're doing is the overarching theme, which I hope that the listeners are getting,
yeah,
is everybody's on their own path, and 13U hockey doesn't matter. 14U hockey doesn't matter. 15U hockey, right? Like it doesn't matter until they're older. Like older,
yeah,
right?
and
Nobody's watching what our kids are doing at this point.
right. And even if your
You know?
kid is not going to be like, not a standout, as long as like every year, I think Doug
Right.
Christensen put it like, like compounding,
Mhm.
what does he say? Compounding
Um, uh,
development.
yeah, right. That
So
stacks.
if you're
Right.
right, if you're just getting better year after
Yeah,
year and you
that's
don't
right.
quit and you keep with it, like, yeah,
That's
your
right.
journey might take longer to wherever you're trying to go,
Yeah,
whatever.
and
But
that's fine, right?
right.
No,
Yeah,
no
man,
big
I hear
deal.
you.
But yeah, so watching wise, I'm actually not having an issue.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's yeah. So listen, listen, like I said, they have 4 tough games this weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully they go well. Hopefully the kids show up because the kids for some reason didn't want to show up last weekend. Listen, it happens.
Yeah.
They're 13. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
One thing I didn't mention, but I also didn't see with my own eyes yet, was that
uh
in one of Otto's games, there was a pushing and shoving that led to
oh nice.
fist swinging.
Oh boy,
2 players got
suspensions.
ejected. Yeah, one of the top
Oh
players
yeah.
on the team. He's actually leading the team in scoring
Oh,
points
he got tossed for the next game.
for 2 games. Yeah, so he didn't play
2
on Sunday.
games.
It happened Saturday night. He couldn't play on Sunday.
He got tossed for 2 games or 1 game.
Well, good
He got tossed
question.
out of the game he was in, and then couldn't play the next one.
But then, so I don't know.
That's what I thought it was.
So it could be. I don't know who told me. Someone said it was for 2 games, or it was that he was out for the next game and he wasn't going to be at the second game on Sunday because he had to go to a soccer game or something. So either way, he wasn't playing the second game on Sunday. Whether that was also part of a suspension, I'm not sure. So nonetheless, so that flared up this weekend. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I mentioned that other than it was just kind of a thing that the team hasn't experienced yet. First ejection. Probably not the best choice, but kids are kids and they lose their temper just like anyone else.
They
Oh my
sure
God.
do.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, you saw the
What?
OHL, that dude on Brampton that took a 2-handed baseball swing and hit his opponent in the temple.
I did not see that actually.
Yo, broski, you got to
What
look
happened?
at that. So there was
Stop it.
no, I'm not kidding, dude. I'm not kidding.
Wait,
So
what happened?
in the OHL,
I'm looking it up as we speak. Go ahead, talk to
a
me.
player on a team from Brampton. They were playing,
Okay.
I think, Oshawa or
Okay.
Kitchener,
Right?
one of the two, maybe Oshawa. But nonetheless, he got body checked behind the goal,
Right.
and then when he got up, he tracked down the guy that hit him a couple paces.
I think I see it right here.
And then he's 2-handed swung a stick like a bat and hit the dude in the temple.
Is the guy all right that he hit?
Yeah, I think he's all right, but like that's like next level shit. Right?
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, that was vicious, right?
Dude, oh my Lord. He hit him right across the cheek and then
yeah, man.
Wow. I mean, please tell me that guy is out for like
life, probably
the remainder of the season.
I'm sure at least.
I mean, how old are those kids?
Juniors. So I don't know. They in the OHL, I think
20?
I think the youngest you could be is I think 16.
Right.
And you're probably there until like you're maybe 20 is when you age out.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
wow, that
was crazy.
That's pretty vicious, buddy.
So the other thing that was vicious was watching McAvoy slow-mo getting
take a puck
face
to the chin.
Busted. Fuck.
Oh my Lord, man. I mean, like again, I didn't watch the whole video. I just saw the highlight of that. But like, where is that puck being shot? Please tell me that was deflected, because
I don't know.
If that's the case, that defenseman should not ever be able to shoot the puck.
But you know what he looked like when he was
so
falling
far
over?
outside of the net, it was not even funny.
Dude, when he was falling over, like it's like watching slow-mo when a boxer gets like
knocked out,
takes a haymaker to the head and just kind of like seizes up and just kind of falls over.
No, listen,
Jesus,
it was bad, no question about it.
Rough sport. These people play.
I'll say.
All right,
I will say.
So what do you think? You'll kick it over to our interview?
Yeah, man. Here we go. Now, this was a very fun interview. This is our boy Alex Kim from the Anaheim Junior Ducks.
Yep.
Alex had a very interesting path to get to where he got. Wouldn't you say, Scott?
Yeah, no doubt. And he
all over the place.
All over the place.
All over the place. Like, talk about a path, man. This dude had a path.
But he's like our age, so he's born late 70s, early 80s.
I think he's 79.
Southern California.
Yeah, Southern California boy. Yeah.
So that was already like a unique situation. So that's kind of like played into like why he had to do the traveling. But played center, right-handed shot, undersized, 5'10", 179.
Yeah.
Stats. Played D1 for University of Miami, Ohio, and also Colorado College.
And
apparently his final year, he was a point per game player. almost
Yeah,
or nearly
no.
a point per
No,
game
he was
player.
legit. Yeah.
No, totally legit. He had a
He was a player, man.
yeah,
Big time.
11 season professional career. It took him across
Yeah.
North America, the AHL, ECHL, Asia, Europe.
Europe.
Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, so he was all over the place, and then he's gone on to, and then he even said he never took a break. Right after he was done playing for 11 years, got right into coaching, player development
Yeah.
with the
Matter
Junior
of fact,
Ducks
he was
organization.
coaching while he was playing, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yes.
definitely right.
Right? Yeah.
Totally.
No, he's been coaching forever, man.
Yeah, and
Now he runs their academy,
well,
right?
it's not the Ducks Academy, isn't it? His own academy,
I
along
think
with
it's
one of his.
I think so, yeah. And it's
Is
run
wait,
out
it
of
is
the
or is not affiliated with the Ducks?
I thought it was.
Oh, okay. I could be
I
mistaken.
thought it was, and he ran it with his buddy. We'll
Okay, so
have to
there,
actually clarify that.
right, but there is a hockey
Yeah,
academy that he's a part of over
yeah,
in California.
yeah,
He's coaching tier one,
yeah.
15, 15s and 16s.
And he's
Um,
coaching his kid too, his little
just starting
guy.
coaching his kid, right?
Yeah,
Or
I
is,
think he's a
not too far
squirt if
into
I'm
it.
not mistaken. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot
yeah,
going on for that guy. But so if
that's for sure.
anyone has been in a situation this guy has,
Oh my,
um,
oh my.
so really looking forward to sharing the interview with everyone.
Yeah, it's a fun interview. He's a fun dude. We actually could have gone for another gazillion hours with Alex.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk to him again.
Yeah, oh, 100% we will. We definitely
Yeah.
will. But yeah, this was a fun one. He again, he comes from a non-traditional area hockey-wise, and definitely a non-traditional type. I mean, with the abacus, with the harpsichord. I mean, he was like he had such a cool upbringing.
Yeah.
Going out to like Minnesota. Was it Minnesota?
Michigan.
Michigan, sorry, wherever he billeted, and then eating rabbit. Oh my god,
Yeah.
he
And
has some,
venison.
yeah, in Venice. He had some cool stories, so it was
Yeah.
fun.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, don't ruin too much there, buddy.
sorry, my bad. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So go ahead.
good. No, you kick it over him.
Yeah, all good. So so we're gonna kick it over to our interview with Alex Kim of the Anaheim Junior Ducks.
Enjoy, everybody.
Enjoy.
All right, and we are here with Alex Kim. Alex is with the Junior Anaheim Ducks. Alex, man, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
No, thanks, James. Scott, appreciate you guys having me. Excited for this and really intrigued by what you guys are doing, and feel that's a very good platform to kind of educate the families and kind of inform them of what's kind of going on within the hockey world. And it's also a great place to vent.
Yeah. Totally.
And I think it's, you can't really vent to a coach. Let's just vent on this, or let's hear about the other people. It's not just, what was me.
Yeah.
So it's
100%.
really, hey, you know what, they're going through the same issues or similar issues, and maybe let's hear their perspective.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. This kind of developed into like a little bit of like a therapy session for hockey parents, right? Um, yeah, like organically. So listen, if we can help out in any way, whether it's informational, like value, to be like a therapy session, but I got to tell you, people love hearing from people like yourself, who are prominent in the hockey space. So with that being said, Alex, why don't you tell us about how'd you start playing? Like, let's hear where you started.
So I grew up in Southern California, and at the age of 5, I followed my sister to the ice rink in Norwalk, and she was about 5.5 years older, and she was figure skating. And during public session, I went out, and the general manager, I guess, of the program just watched me skate and asked my mom if I was interested in playing hockey. And she said, no, it's too dangerous. So, right, within a week, I kind of negotiated with my mom to, hey, do this. So I don't know what negotiation is my most strong personality, which I still have. I think that's where that's the starting point of that personality. And it kind of just gravitated to playing hockey. And, I was fortunate though to play other sports growing up as well. So I played NJB, I played AYSO, Little League Baseball. I played golf. I played for North Orange County Tennis Association. So I did multiple sports, about 6 or 7 different sports growing up, while being able to play the harpsichord, playing the piano, and using an abacus. So
wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I did speed reading as well. So I took a speed reading class, and this is like before I was like 10.
What?
So it was
Jeez.
a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was. I culturally, like Tiger Mom. It's real. I think my mom is probably like Queen Tiger Mom. So she was able to kind of, I guess, expose me to a lot of different things. And so hockey was one of those things that where I kind of took the ball and ran with it. You guys there?
Did we lose him?
Not sure. It did cut out.
Yeah, I can't tell. It's funny what he was saying. He could probably hear us clearly too, like Ben. You know?
Oh, it could be.
Yeah. His internet connection was so good right before we started, right?
Yeah. It
Okay,
dropped.
he'll come back on. But I got to tell you, what he was saying about like Southern California hockey before we actually started recording was very cool. Like he'll come back on in a
What
second.
part?
How they fly everywhere, right? How there's no like
Oh.
you were talking about like the Northeast and how they have to get on planes. I mean, he was in South Dakota last weekend. I'm pretty sure. He'll touch on that when
That's
we get him
crazy.
back on. But
Yeah.
um, you know, he I mean, I think Florida is a very similar situation.
Yeah, I bet Texas is too.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Arizona.
I was going to say Arizona, all those areas. Like in Minnesota, they don't have to go anywhere, right? Boston, they have
Yeah.
all those teams. We have a bunch of teams around us.
Yeah. Ohio's dense. Ohio,
Right.
St. Louis.
Right. I don't think. There we got
All
you.
right,
There we
sorry
got you
guys, there
back.
we go.
Yeah,
No,
no
you're
worries.
good.
You were just saying about speed reading in the abacus.
Oh, and Alex, if
Oh,
you could
yeah.
just sorry, just before you keep going, if you could just close I think you might have more than one tab open with the the- I just haven't there's a notification on the side saying that
Yeah, I'm gonna
you
close
might have
it.
Riverside open in other tabs. If you do, if you could just close any
Okay.
extra ones.
How's that?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Nice. You were saying about speed reading.
Yeah, so my mom, she had me do assortment of things from the harpsichord, like piano, speed reading, and kind of exposed me to a little bit of everything. And
Right.
Wow.
hockey was one of those things where every sport I played too, I would bring the sign up sheet home because my mom's English wasn't great. My dad was busy working too. And so I was fortunate to have a mom that was able to kind of take me everywhere, and my sister and I. And so we just kind of started playing hockey in California. It was so, I guess the sport itself, it was just like an anomaly to have an ice rink in California at the time.
How far was the rink from home?
It was close. It was about maybe 10, 15 minutes away.
Yep.
And so, it's one of those things where you just kind of, you gravitated to the sport and kind of took off. I wasn't very good in the very beginning, but I knew I enjoyed it, and I started playing it. I began to love it. And, I'd go to the rink sometimes at 5:30 in the morning.
Yep.
I would wake my parents up. And the director of the hockey program at the time, he just took a liking to me, and he invited me to come out. Just kind of on my own. My
It's
parents were
amazing.
there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was memorable. I mean, he'd be playing the Bee Gees and staying a lot. And
That's awesome.
Whatever works, man. As long as you get the ice time, right?
yeah, 100%, 100%.
So
So-
what club was that? Like what was the name of the club?
I was in Norwalk Condors. So, when you
Okay.
see like Norwalk, you're thinking Norwalk, Connecticut sometimes.
Yes,
Totally.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they're no, not that Norwalk. We're from California. So,
Nice.
they go, oh, you're from California. You guys play hockey. And you'd hear quite a lot of that. And, you played for an assortment of teams from like the Team California to the Wildcats to the Junior Kings. And then, later on, it was the Junior Ducks for me until I got, 15. And then I left home. So you played for an assortment of teams growing up. And, California hockey was much different then. But there's some similarities in terms of like your best athletes aren't playing hockey
Right.
in California. Your best athletes are playing sports that are more traditional.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's kind of the challenges that we face. And, you know, I kind of look back and I'm like, man, I played all those sports and I think it did help me as a player. You become a little bit more aware of how your body works, the movements, and I see the benefit for that. And I understand where parents are coming from these days, where it's like, well, how do you mix that in? Everything's become full season.
Right.
Yeah.
Even speed reading is full season. So yeah, and grew up in California. I think when at the onset of it, the teams weren't very good, but you played for your local team, and then you had a travel team, and that's kind of how the setup was. And you had some really good teams. I think just off our PVT team, we had maybe 6 or 7 Division I kids.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 NHL draft picks.
Wow.
Yeah, in that little pocket of 79 birth years. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
And
that's like uncommon
yeah.
regardless of being in Southern California, no?
yeah, I think so. Regardless, I think now in coaching, you
Yeah.
look at it, and if you can move on 25% or have 25% of one of your rosters end up getting to those levels, then it's usually a success rate.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
it's very difficult, and with today's landscape, it's obviously much more challenging. So I'm
Sure.
sure we'll talk about that later. But yeah, growing up in California, you did that and played for the Junior Kings, played for the Junior Ducks, and um, you look at the sacrifices that my parents made to do it, and we would travel to Fresno, and so for those that aren't familiar with California, like Fresno's like in Central California, a lot of like horticulture, farming. It's more of the seems like in the Midwest. It's a solid like 3 hours
Right.
drive, and we would go just for practice to Fresno, and then we would go to Lake Arrowhead, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive up the mountain, just for practice because just limited
Wow.
availability. Um,
Unbelievable.
yeah, and so I mean, there's so many memories, and for parents out there, or for people who are out there, is my son a D or forward? You know, because
Who knows?
I mean, I go through that all the time, and I remember when I first started playing, I was playing Norwalk Condors, we're playing Culver City, which was at the time the LA Kings like practice facility, which is no longer there. But it was one of my first games, and my dad didn't really take a really keen interest in the beginning, and we played, in Culver City, and I was playing defense, and the first period goes by, and my mom told me like, "Hey, your dad's going to come to this game," and it's like the first game he really kind of came to, and so in between periods, I see my dad kind of stroll in, and he walks in, and I go, "Coach, put me at center. My dad's here. I want to go score."
Oh.
Yeah. So the first shift, I get the puck, boom, go down and score. And so
Oh, no
Nice.
way.
That's awesome.
last time I ever played defense, like literally and figuratively. Like if you ask former teammates, like Kimber didn't play defense.
That's amazing.
Well, that's funny.
So I get that's kind of where I was incepted, I guess, in California, where I really began to love it, and I did things, and I wanted to make my dad proud, and I really looked to my dad, and I'm grateful for what he did, and for a lot of my teammates too, what their parents had to do, because
Sure.
it takes a village, right? It's
Oh yeah.
one player might make it, but it's off the backs or off the support of that core group that they had, and I think there's a testament to that to be grateful for it too. So in the journey, you should be grateful, and I'm fortunate because I coach with one of my closest friends who we grew up playing together, and
Oh, that's
Oh, how
cool.
nice.
our dads are really close together, and you guys should have him on. He's great. Doug Christensen actually knows him as well.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
right on.
Okay.
Yeah, so Noah Clark's, he coaches with us, and he's been
Nice.
great. We were line mates, as Pee Wee players, and then we both were line mates in college hockey together at Colorado College.
And then
Ama-
talk about your high school and college career and when you went away from home. Talk about that stuff.
Yeah, so at 15, you start to go to the USA national camps,
Mhm.
and back then they didn't have the U.S. National Development Team program. Back then they invited, I think, 240, 300 players to St. Cloud, Minnesota. From there, they picked 40 kids to go to Colorado Springs each year at 16, 17. I was fortunate to make both,
Nice.
to make the 40 man for both years. And at one of the camps, one of the coaches from Michigan, reached out to my dad, and I was going into to be a 16-year-old, and he asked, would you be interested in coming to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan? And my dad said, sure.
Amazing.
And we played for the Junior Ducks growing up, and for about 2 years prior to leaving. And so it was the first time, and I went to the Sioux, what they call it, and I lived on the American side. And this is about the time like Joe Thornton and Rico Fata were playing for the Sioux Hounds on the other side of the river, and played in Michigan, and it was a great league. You played against Little Caesars, CompuWare, and GPD at the time, the Fraser Falcons. It was your best league because you played TI down in Chicago and all the Illinois team. I didn't know though. I had no idea what that was.
Right.
Coming from California, like, you hear like Detroit, you hear all these things, but at the time I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm just moving.
Right.
And I moved by myself though, so that was hard.
You did. So you billeted with a family.
I did. That was the very first build experience. So for what it's worth, a lot of families out there that might have had that experience or going through that experience or have to go through the experience, past, present, and future. That first one was very difficult, and it tests your mental fortitude of how, when they talk about being mentally strong, it's within the game, but it's also like the exterior, the environment. Sure. And so it was hard. I went to a school where I didn't know anybody. You had some teammates. It wasn't a problem, but it was a problem. I was, you normally see like you're token like Hispanic, or you're token African American, within the school, and maybe you're a token Asian person. But I was the only token there.
Wow.
First day of school, you get dropped off, and you remember Dukes of Hazzard?
Sure.
Yeah, we all grew up watching that. So
absolutely,
great show.
Daisy, my girl,
Dixie Flag, and I mean there were like 4 trucks with flags galore.
Oh yeah,
and I'm
really
like, dude,
what am I getting myself into? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, and for every day, I hear it every day, because in California, you grew up going to high school where everything was outdoor, and so you walk. There was no like enclosed hallway. But here was enclosed hallway, one-way direction. So you'd see the same characters, and like you'd hear the remarks, and after 2 months, I was like, okay, enough is enough, dude. Like I got in an altercation, and I grabbed the guy and lifted him up to the locker. I just say,
set him straight.
It's not going to happen anymore, because I didn't choose this. You didn't choose you. Like, let's just get along. Okay. Right. I look the way I look, and you look the way you look.
Right.
So that was probably the most challenging time. Like I cried a lot at home, with unbeknownst to my parents or my family or even the Billet family.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was hard. And I always remind myself I'm doing this because I love the sport, and I just want to play hockey at the highest level. Not knowing what college hockey was, what was going to be behind in 2 years time. So at the time, Michigan, it was great. The Billet family, they were awesome though. They tricked me into eating rabbit.
They're like, it tastes just like chicken.
They put it in a crock pot, right? And they
like a stew.
Yeah, they leave it there all day. And like, the house mom at the time, she's like, she leaves a note, a nice little note, like, hey, there's food for you after school when you get back. All you have to do is take it out. Because I take it out, and like, it's around 4 o'clock. She comes home, and I'm eating this, and I'm like, man, this is really tough. This is really rough. Do I say anything? And I asked her, I go, Mrs. Cartwright, is this supposed to be like, a little tough?
So chewy?
This chicken's really tough, like, I used to be that tough. And she goes, it's actually rabbit. So my Billet brother, he hunted, so that was foreign to me too.
Interesting.
Younger than I was, and he hunted, and he caught that rabbit in his rabbit trap.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever had rabbit, now that I think about it.
Yeah, and venison was new to me at the time, and
Oh, delicious.
Midwest, like it's venison is it, right? And to me, I
Yeah.
was like, "What's venison?"
Right.
And they're like, "The deer." I'm like, "Why don't you just call it deer? It's venison." I'm like, "Okay, it's
That's true. That's
true.
a very good
Just call
point,
it
by the
deer.
way.
yeah, you win. You're in the Midwest." When in Rome, do as the Romans do, right?
Right.
But I get home one day and like you usually go through the garage, and in California, you don't go through. You just go through your front door, right? Typically, but here it's wintertime, and there's all this like plastic sheeting, like covering the garage floor, and like I see this blood all over, and then you can't really see, right? Like you can't really see that because it's there's another like I guess pane of like plastic that you can't see, but you see something hanging. And I'm like, dude, what's going on here?
What am I doing? What is happening?
A person, and then I keep walking, I peek, and I'm like, oh, thank God, it's just
It's just a deer hanging there.
Like that's the first time you're seeing that too, right? Like, and so like later that night, there's a pool table downstairs in the basement, and we go usually play pool downstairs with my house brother, and it's the house dad Larry at the time. He's like, Alex, come downstairs, look at this, and so he opens the refrigerator, and it's just like stacks and stacks and stacks of meat. He's like venison sausage, venison burger, venison steak, whatever you want, venison, we got it. And this is what we're eating all winter.
Oh no.
Oh, they were like
someone learned to love venison
for the winter. I didn't even think about that. They were stocking it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
oh my goodness.
At the time, so like that, I mean, I have so many stories. I just go for hours and hours, but I think the reason why I went to the Sioux is because they were protected by Des Moines in the USHL. And that I think was a selling point to my dad, I guess. But my dad didn't even know what the USHL was either. My dad's English was good. He was fluent, so he understood what's going on.
Right.
But he just like, do you want to go? I'm like, sure. And like at the time, two colleges were calling too at 16. And my dad would ask me, and then, what do you want to do? I'm like, it's too hard of a school.
Like which schools? Which schools did you knock down?
Harvard and Brown and some other Ivies. And so like, I go, and I told my dad at the time, I go, listen, like, I want to be good at both. Right. And I'm not confident that I could to excel in both. So if I'm going to play hockey, like I'm going to put everything into it, and I may fail out of Harvard, if
interesting,
if I go all in, and if I go all in academically, then why did they bring me there? That was
hockey's going to suffer or something like that.
It's not a fair deal for them. So I wanted to find something where there's a balance, I think. And ultimately that's kind of, what led me to, I guess, turn them down at the time. And then went to Des Moines after the Sioux and played the USHL as a 17-year-old. So
yeah, let me just ask a quick question as you're going through this. So like during this progression, was the original, like before moving to Michigan, was the idea, I'm going to get into this, hockey's going to take me to college? Or did you have your eyes on the NHL and going pro? Or like kind of like, where was your mindset like at this step along the way, like going to college?
Individually, I didn't really think of anything. Honestly, like I think at the time, like I think Brian DeRocher, he was at Boston University at the time. He coached women's hockey now. And I think he was Jack Parker's assistant coach. And he made a speech in Colorado Springs, and it was at the top 40 camp. And one of the things he said was very interesting to me, was that he said, hockey is a vehicle, and it will take you places. Where it will take you is kind of up to you, and it'll take you to different places. And that framework alone, like I think it's still applicable today, right?
Sure.
It is a vehicle, and whatever your expectations of where you want to be the final destination is kind of up to you. I didn't have a final destination as a player at the time. For me, it was just like, I'm going to just ride my vehicle as long as I possibly can, because I love it. I love doing it. And it was awesome. So I really enjoyed it. I think there wasn't very much college hockey, I guess exposure in California. So like one was, they used to have a tournament at the Great Western Forum, and I think Michigan State was playing at the time. I think Anson Carter, Kit Miller. I think I went to go watch those guys play, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Stevie Suck, he was on that team. Michigan State had a powerhouse at the time. And so I remember watching them, and then maybe Northern Michigan one time because we knew Eric Lamarck, who played at Northern Michigan because he was like a hockey schools instructor. And we watched him in Denver. I think it was, I don't want to say McNichols, or it might have been at that arena. But those are the only two college hockey things I thought about or knew about at the time. And you did hockey night in Boston.
Right.
Around 14, 15. I did that.
Right.
And like, I was still really naive to the whole thing.
Got it.
Yeah. I was just like, let me just try to go score as many goals as I can.
Sure.
That's honestly, that's all I thought about. Like, let me go
Right.
score.
Yeah.
Just living in the moment, no plans for the future, just kind of like,
Which is kind of careless and risky too. When you look at it.
Also kind of freeing and not pressure, right? I mean, it's two sides of that coin, right?
Yeah, but the pressure I think came from within too. Like just always wanting to be the best, right? And not realizing at the time like there is no best. Because it's when you do this for a long period of time, you start to understand like there are best, but they're best in terms of like certain rules or categories, or facets of the game, right? Like your best offside, power play flank guy is who? It's very specific, right? Your best net front, it's not going to be Ovechkin, right? You would put somebody else there. You put like a Hyman in front, and Eriksson Ek, right? He'd put him in front. It becomes a little more rule defined, and I think that's a little more, I guess, deeper conversation. But so going back to Des Moines, like that's kind of how it. They said we're protected, we're a protected team from Des Moines, for Des Moines, and I'm like, okay, sure, I guess, whatever that means.
Right.
Yeah. But you're up, yeah. And I play with a lot of guys from Fairbanks, Alaska too. So that team that in the Sioux, like it was kind of a conglomerate of different like players from everywhere. It's kind of a builded team. And go to Des Moines. I try out, just kind of a blind tryout. Like they just invited me to try out because I was on their roster, or the protected roster.
Yeah. Right.
Not really knowing who I was, and I had a good season and led the team in scoring, but no one really talked to me. And then Clage Cable was a captain at the time, played at UA, great guy. You guys should have him on too. He's unbelievable person, but he was captain, kind of like took a liking to me and told the coach like, hey, like, why don't you watch him a little bit more? And while I was watching, I ended up having like 2 goals, 2 assists, and it's hard because there's like 10 teams playing.
Right.
Things haven't changed in that regard. I don't want to say 10, maybe like probably 6 teams. I felt like there was 10 teams.
Right.
It was just an army of kids, and like I'm like, how are they going to figure out who's who?
Right.
I'm like, I know they're going to figure me out because I know I look.
You have a defining characteristic.
Exactly. And so, to some degree, I guess that's like a double-edged sword, right? Like it's, it's, you can use it to your advantage, but you have to be able to back it up.
Right.
And I think there's a stigma too, like, oh, he must be really good at math.
Oh God.
Maybe he'll do my math homework for me. And you kind of roll with the punches, and you build a callus to it, and I think that's, kind of what happened over the years. But yeah, Des Moines was interesting. The USHL was awesome. Like, I obviously work for the league now, but was fortunate to play there. And I went straight from 1 year of junior hockey right into college hockey.
Wow.
With the Miami, Ohio? Is that where you were?
With Miami, Ohio.
Right.
So I just turned 18. Through that process too, I was looking at like 4 or 5 different schools.
What are those schools, if you don't mind asking?
There's a bunch that reached out, and I took like, I think I want to say Ohio State, it was Miami, St. Cloud, and then there's a couple more, but then I didn't take those visits.
Interesting.
But Miami was a beautiful campus. The ratio was like 5 to 1, right? And
I see why you went there.
and I'm
I
telling
see
you,
exactly why you went there.
I'm telling you, that's the first thing they say to you.
Oh, really?
Well, it's a selling point, right?
Well, at the time, that's what they told you, and like,
It's a feature, selling feature.
I mean, and it was I didn't know, like, you come from California, and like, women here, like in California, like very attractive, right?
Yeah.
You think of like California beaches, and
Sure.
you think that that's Hollywood, right? And that's what you're accustomed to, and um, and then you go there, and like, wow, where did these people come from, right?
Midwest type of people. It's
I mean,
different.
it's Kentucky,
Yeah.
Central Ohio, like,
Yeah.
right? And it's like that was like the draw for a lot of the for the hockey players really at the time, and like it wasn't a draw to me, but like they said it to me, and I'm like, I just want an opportunity to play,
Right.
right?
Right.
And like you're gonna play. I'm like, okay, I'll play. Great.
Good. Done.
And
Right.
so that was for me. And in the campus itself was beautiful, like the brick and mortar for three, all like ivy and brick, three
Yeah, I'm
stories
sure it was
high.
spectacular.
That's nothing
Yeah.
extended over 3 stories. I loved it, and it was a college feel. You felt like
Yeah.
you were at college.
Right.
So I did that, and scored my 6 goals in the first six games. So 1 goal each game, as a freshman. So I came out hot.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and then I ran into a little trouble at Christmas. I got suspended. I thought I was Superman. And years later, people don't realize, like, I didn't implicate that some of my teammates were involved, which they were, but I just didn't,
Kept it quiet.
Yeah, and I got penalized, and it was my draft year. It was hard.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I was doing really well at the time. So, I played another year there at Miami, and grateful for the opportunity. And the coach left, after my sophomore year. He was leaving, so he's like, "Hey, you might want to reconsider what you want to do." And I was fortunate to have my former junior coach, or not my former. I went back to Des Moines, so it was favorable for me to go back.
Right.
It wasn't like a really huge character thing. It was just like, hey, there's something happened. It was just,
Yeah. Made a mistake. You're a young kid. Yeah, sure.
yeah. And so that's, you make a mistake, and
Yeah.
you kind of move on. And, I was fortunate to go back to Des Moines, and then it was around Christmas time, and I'm like, man, I got no offers. Right. And I'm 20 years old, and I'm a proven college player at the time. You have good numbers at the collegiate level. It's not like you weren't doing anything.
Right.
And I was like, maybe I should quit hockey.
Wow.
And I loved golf at the time.
Okay.
I was probably like a single handicap at the time, like probably 9, right, 8, 9, and I was like, maybe I could do this. And so I started to kind of train a little bit, and I was like, went to go see some people, over break, and they're like, maybe you should, you have a chance at it. You have some potential. But then I was like, only the top 150 people in the world make money.
That is true.
Yeah, so I stuck with hockey, came back. I mean, after break, and then didn't have anything. It was very nerve wracking too, not to have any offers. After doing 2 years of it, and you're going back to play junior hockey, where you're playing with players that are all trying to get to where you
To where you were. Yeah, where you just came from. Sure.
So it's it was a little mind boggling at the time, and I think that's it's perplexing as a player, because you're the only one going through it. Right.
And you lit it up back when you were in Des Moines. I'm looking at your elite prospect right now. You lit it up when you went back to juniors.
Everyone thought I was going to get over 100.
I mean, listen, you had a season.
But yeah, but they a lot of my teammates at the time expected 100 because of the numbers of college hockey, and like the numbers after leaving Des Moines. Like the first year I had 20 some odd goals as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that you go through that process, and then like you're sitting there in March and nothing's coming. You're like, man, maybe this is the end of it.
Right.
So the adversity starts to kick in, and you keep working. And you're in the playoffs, and like, I got lucky one night. I got 4 goals, and every D1 program was in the building. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. After that game, there's a long line. So from there, probably like 15, 20 schools, and of 40 at the time. So it was a lot.
Wow.
And from there I started taking my visits, and
And you
You must
settled
have
on
felt like,
Colorado?
oh,
yeah, I ended up in Colorado, but like I did the whole like transfer portal, like before the transfer portal, I was one
right.
of those players. There's a number of us, but there's not a ton. And
Right.
then, what is a visit? Well, I went on 9 of them, I'll tell you. Because the reality is like you can only take 5, but I cycled back. So the clock started over.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
interesting.
Right.
Got
And
it.
yeah, so that was the interesting part. Like, not many players go through the pathway I took.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So on the second time around, like you must have been so relieved after like all these offers started coming in and you're going on visits again. What was the approach the second time around? Was there something in particular that you wanted to make sure of, or you were just looking for, something that like what was like the checklist of things you were looking for in your next school?
well, there are a lot of good schools. So that was the hard part, right?
Mm,
So BU, Denver, UNH at the time was a powerhouse.
Right.
Colorado College, St. Cloud jumped in again, Ohio State jumped, like a lot of schools jumped back in Providence, Clarkson, everybody kind of
All
jumped in.
big time. Yeah. All big time.
Um, and like I it, going as a transfer player, like that was hard because it's like, okay, now you got to think about like it's a short window. Like you may only have, 10 games to prove your worth to the coaching staff.
right.
If you don't perform in that 10, like they'll just wash it off clean because they'll just
Right.
work with a freshman or sophomore.
Right.
Right. You calculate that, and then you calculate like, okay, pro visibility at that time. So at that time you start to think about like, you should be thinking about that. But I didn't think about that. Right. That's kind of the mishap. With the
Hmm.
numbers I had, they were decent enough to at least get something in an American League deal, right? Later on.
Right.
But you don't think about that. And I think for me at the time, it was like, okay, I can transfer into school where I used to play for that coach. And 2 of my closest childhood friends or teammates
Oh,
are at that school.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was the easiest segue for me. And it was
that
like,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise. And, I had another childhood friend that was at UNH. So that's, what drew me to that. And BU was just BU. And then Denver was in the mix too at the time. So
Right.
ended up going to Colorado College, and yeah.
That's amazing. And then
That's
from
cool.
the, because we do want to also obviously get to like your current coaching, and with the youth program with the Anaheim Junior Ducks, but like you went on to play pro, and had a pretty lengthy career there.
Oh, yeah.
Just in terms of that transition, what was that something that it looks like you played internationally, you played domestically, you've been kind of all over the place. What were some of the highlights from your pro career?
Highlights are lowlights, but like,
Well, I mean,
Oh
listen,
God.
well, I know, I know.
they're all learning
Yeah, there are a
experiences.
lot of learning experience, but like it's it's fine. Mason Lowright plays for the Boston Bruins, right?
Mm.
And so I remember little Mason running into the locker room like as a 3-year-old, right?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years old, and you see him later on. I saw him at the USHL Fall Classic, and his dad was our coach at the time, and you look back and like, oh my God, like this happened in the East Coast Hockey League. That was my first year, right? And
Wow.
that's you know I don't know about lowlights, highlights. I think overall, just like it goes back to like what the mission of playing was to take a vehicle, right, and
Mm.
take it as far as you can, and see as much as you can, because it's a interesting journey. It's very colorful. There's a lot of things, that you went around the way. Like I got to live in the UK, in Scotland, pound
Germany, right? Yeah.
Germany for like a minute.
Yeah.
That was an interesting year too, because I ended up going to the UK and Scotland, played in Edinburgh, and
I see that.
yeah, it was. I mean, I could go on for stories for that one, but like my coach thought, he was a drummer from Nickelback apparently, because he ended up telling people that at a bar, right? And he
Oh, that's funny.
and So this thing, we're gonna be on this thing for hours, and I'm fine. I love this thing, and you guys can edit what you want, but like, we end up winning 2 games, and long story short, like, go out and like, hey, do you want to go out, coach? No, I'm gonna stay home. We see him out at the second bar, right? And he's there talking to some girls, and he ends up going home with them and a couple guys too. And so it's like, oh, it's harmless, right? Lo and behold, I guess he told the girls that he was a drummer from Nickelback, and they're
Oh
all
my god.
That's awesome.
and so she takes pictures and whatnot, and like he didn't know that was like the Booster Club like president, like the one of the big financiers, right?
Oh no.
And they go to
That's
brunch
funny.
the next day, and like, hey, Dad, guess who I saw? I saw I met the drummer from Nickelback. It's on my phone. See, right? And he's like, no, that's the head coach of the. So in the UK, this starts to go around, and this is pro hockey, I guess, if you will, right?
Right.
That's we go to every bar and they're playing Nickelback like for a 20-minute warm up.
Oh, is that
So funny.
How great is that?
Well, I mean, that's to me like you can't write a better script. I mean, that's just you see that happen, and going to Korea was awesome.
I was just going to ask you about that. What was that like?
Well, the whole thing, like going overseas though, too, like they say you're an import player, and like as a foreigner, you're like, okay, import, it's just something different, right? But in Germany, I learned like what import means, and they're like, we ended up in a shootout, and they're like, hey, you're going, and I go, I'm not great at shootouts. They're like, you're an import player. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm an import player. No, you are an important player. Well, yeah. So I, I'm like, okay, I guess I got to go, right? Because I'm only, one of 2 import players.
That's great.
Go down and I bury one right in the corner, right? Just high up.
Oh, nice.
Glass in the corner, right? Just completely missing it. And I go, I told you so.
Oh, you missed.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed.
Oh. Airmail.
Yeah, I'm not good at this thing. I told you. In a breakaway, I'm great, but not in a shootout. Don't give me time to think too much.
Right.
So that was, you learn as an import, but in Korea, that was kind of probably the most memorable outside of San Diego. So San Diego's were awesome, beautiful. But in Korea, I got to learn more about my culture.
That's cool.
And did you speak the language fluently?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
But I get by now.
Okay.
It's probably elementary. Some more advanced words, probably a little bit here and there, but it's kind of mixed in. And my wife actually speaks, she's from Korea, so it's fluent.
Okay.
So
but when you were out there, you couldn't speak the language.
Yeah, but
or just minor things.
You could read the language. Like, I mean, kids would read, wear, shirts with fuck on it, right? And like, am I allowed to say that? I'm just reading what this.
Yeah, you can say that. We
good.
swear, yeah, it's apparent. It's apparent.
No, Korea is very like westernized. It's more so than any other like I think Asian country that I'd seen. You had your Burger King. You had like they try to bring In-N-Out burger. I don't know if you're familiar with on
sure.
The East Coast, but they brought it out for like a day, right? They did a pop-up shop. And McDonald's, everything, but like the fast food there is actually very good. Like and Japan, like the fast food, excellent. Not that I want to eat fast food all the time, but like quality of the fast food is actually that much better.
Right.
But in Korea, it was you look like coffee, you smell like coffee, but you don't taste like coffee. Meaning like I look Korean, I kind of act Korean, but I don't think Korean. Right. And that's kind of one of the struggles I had as a player a little bit, and going through the experience. But I really appreciated the whole like time that I was there, because it was very humbling. Like, I don't know how to speak very well. And like, my dad always said, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Right. So I had to, it's not, I'm going to speak English. It's like, I got to pick up Korean quick.
Right.
So and that's when the dating game started. So that's the best way.
Oh, there you go.
You start to kind of like, but it was interesting in Korea, because like in Korea it's very like normal to have like blind dates.
Right.
Okay.
And so your teammates would like, hey, and it was like almost like the 5th degree of separation, maybe, if you will, or the 6th degree of separation. Right. And like first year, like I went on like 5 or 6 blind dates, and like, and just nothing, just more than coffee, maybe a dinner. That's it. Right. And just to kind of get to know people. And I guess it was part of networking, and it's like, there's hit or miss.
Sure.
But one, ended up in like it was a hit. Right. And then you learn the language and whatnot, but you don't know like who you're meeting really. You kind of get to see a picture and they tell you more about that person. And like my teammate, set me up. Yeah. So it's very normal. And I was like,
Right.
that's like,
Yeah. Being from the States, you're like, what are we doing here?
yeah, sure. I'm in. It's
When they do this though, I mean, they're doing it with like sincere intentions, or like sometimes they're doing it like they're setting you up with someone that's like a total gag.
No, it's sincere. Like something that you actually, because I was at the age too, right? Like in Korea at the time, like I'm 27, 28, and like, you have to start to think a little bit more like, hey, about life. Like you're going to be 30,
stuff,
and that's kind of like the age you get married, right? Like,
okay.
So it was a little bit more formal, more serious, right? It wasn't just like, let's just have fun.
Right. Got it.
More in the notion of like, hey, it's, you found different suitors, right? And like different, like, personalities, like what would match well and stuff like that. It was definitely different. The hockey was different. The teammates were different. Like, I had a lot of young teammates, and I still keep in touch with those guys.
That's so cool. That's very cool.
I mean, it was, so hockey has been very, very great to me in terms of my playing career. I was fortunate, and I ended up in Austria, my last year for a little bit too. Because
Did you get hurt? Because that was a short stint there. Did you get injured when you were there?
I was just hanging out.
Oh, I got you.
And I was just coaching, and I was waiting for an offer, right? And I kind of wasn't waiting for an offer because I was kind of tired, and I'm like, maybe I want to try to play Hum 40.
Oh wow.
If I can, and see what I can do with the game, right? And it didn't work out that way. And I always said if I ever got a chance to go to Austria, like, I don't care what league, how much money, like, I'll go.
You would do it. Okay.
Yeah, and I was kind of coaching a band AA team at the time, was helping out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Back in the States, right?
Yeah, for the Junior Ducks, I was helping, and then I got an offer to go there.
Oh, so you were with the Junior Ducks while you were playing too?
Well, not necessarily. Like, for that hiatus, right?
For that one little short stint. Okay.
Yeah, because in the lockout too, I think in like an 05 or 04, whenever the lockout was, like, I was coaching at LA Hockey Club too.
Oh, okay.
And LA Hockey Club was a powerhouse. So I was co-coach for the 16 AAA team and 14 AA team.
Oh, so you've been coaching for a long time now.
I have, like, when I went, I did the LA Kings Pro Camp. I did, a number of things. And at that time, I was still, even their development camps, I was still working, like teaching lessons.
Wow.
Yeah, and running camps, because I was always in the back of my head, like, man, I know I'm pretty good, but like, there's guys that are really good, and like, this is gonna be hard, and like, I need to have a backup plan, and I don't want to work a normal, like,
9 to
5 like part-time job over the summer.
Right.
I have flexibility. I can do an hour lesson and then work out and go skate and do what I need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing, and I ran some camps, and fortunate to work with, like, the 92 birth year. Matt Nieto, who just played for the Pens, right, last year and the year before. Like, he was one of my students.
Wow.
Yeah, Emerson Edom, and like, I think Trevor Moore used to trade with us. He's with the Kings now.
Right.
So 92 birth year, 95 birth year. So I was able to work with those kids in the summer.
Amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was doing that, and then kind of playing too.
Right.
All along, I was training in the summertime. So that was my job in the summer.
Right.
Yeah, on an East Coast League contract, like,
right,
you're almost paying to play.
Yes, you have to find some other way to supplement your income somewhere, right? Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And now you're a full-time Junior Ducks coach, like you said, running the academy. So what do you think of the landscape of hockey now? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are, because I'm curious if it's similar to where we are in the Northeast.
Yeah, I think it's just everything's on overdrive. I think a lot of people are looking at social media, and it's very accessible.
Yeah.
From there, you start to form these ideas and opinions and whatnot, right? In your own little circle, your individual circle, right? Wherever you are in the country or in the world. And you see this and it's constant, right? And it's easy and it's addictive. Like your screen is, flip, 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 slide, whatever you need to do. Like it's
Yeah.
it's finger touch away, right? And because of the accessibility, the parents are comparing. I think you compare a lot, and you're like, what's next? Like, oh my god, like he's doing this, I got to do that.
Yep.
I think social media does play a big part of it because you're able to see the world now and your counterparts, right? Because so it's kind of wrapped up to more competitive environment, which is good and bad. I think the landscape itself is very competitive. And sometimes it's the blind leading the blind.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because I think a lot of families too, like, and people just in general, and it doesn't have to be hockey, but we're guilty of this because we form opinions based on opinions or form a mindset based off an opinion, or an experience like of someone else, third party, if that makes any sense.
No, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you watch the highlights, you watch the young kids that are playing brick, you're watching the Pee Wee Quebec, you're seeing these skill sessions, you're seeing these like achievements, and then Jamie and I've talked about it a whole bunch. It's just like, you talk to parents like, well, what's the fastest way to get my kid to that? And like the parents' opinion, maybe they have an idea about hockey, maybe they don't, but it's like they see certain milestones as like the be all and end all, and they'll do whatever it takes to kind of get their kid and to that point.
Yeah.
But like sometimes at all costs, you know what I mean? And like, so you see a lot of real overindulgence sometimes. And again, and people want to copy that because they think that is what success, that's what's going to drive success.
Right.
And I don't know, that's what was my thoughts based on what you just said. I don't know if that is in line with what you were saying.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just and the alignment of expectations and how you define success. I think you have to really you almost work backwards a little bit. You have to understand, like, every family is going to be a little bit different. And as the boys get a little bit older, like some parents are like, I just want my son to go to a really good school and enjoy the experience and go to play ACHA, and that's fine. That could be like their final destination, and that's okay. And you have to be able, and I think that's more on ego, right? People have egos, so it's like you have to be willing to accept that. Each family's goals are going to be a little different. Some families might, they're shooting for the NHL. And when they say like, hey, it's not about pro hockey. Well, yeah, it is about pro hockey.
Yes, that's exactly right, by the way.
Yeah, and I think you have to just enjoy the experience. I think that's the biggest thing. It is an experience, and why are we in such a rush? To your point, like I think it's going to be the same as on the East Coast and the West Coast, because spring hockey, that's what, I'm sure I'll see you guys at a rink.
I'm sure. It's funny, Alex, you said something to me when we were on the phone last week talking. You said, like, because you just mentioned being in a rush, right? And I remember you saying something to the effect of, these like U16 parents are saying like you were saying, like, what's the rush? They're U16, they have so much time. And then you're like, well, they do have so much time, but the time goes quickly, right? Like, it's
this runway, everyone's on the same runway. Right. There is an expiration date on it. There's a shelf life, right? And this is something that we all know. And because the runway, it is long, because you look in years, right? And you look at time, but that runway, you're flying. You are at light speed. It's that season goes by so quickly. Those kids, they were 10, now they're 15.
right.
So I empathize with the parents, because I'm a parent now too. And my son plays, and I do get FOMO every now and then, and I have to like remind myself or talk to my counterparts or my colleagues, just tell me I'm being crazy. And yesterday I go, am I being crazy for thinking this? Like, yeah. I'm like, dude, come on, can't you see this reason that you're being crazy?
You fit in perfectly with our podcast. It's perfect.
So, and what is the rush? Like, it's just, at the end of the day, like the crux of it, it's just a sport. And,
Right.
The hard part is that it's a sport that is not accessible to all. And they say it's hockey for all, but not everyone can afford it.
That's for sure.
They don't have the means to do it or the exposure to do it. And you wish it was a little bit more global, but it's not. And, we work with what we have. And, I think because of the fact that it is a little bit more of an investment,
right?
The parents internally think, and it's human nature, well, I'm paying X amount, right? Or
Right.
I'm doing this, why am I not getting my return?
Right. They want the return.
And the return is ice time, code word ice time,
Right.
And there's only so much for it to go around, but like, it's almost asinine too. Cause I think about it like, and I'm going to do it too. I'm going to travel to play some good competition, but like when I really break it down, let's just say there's 45 minutes in a game. I think that's how much time is in your kids' games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 3 15-minute periods.
Yeah. 15s.
Yep.
So there's 3 15-minute periods, and your child will play how many minutes of that? 15 at the most, right?
Right.
Probably.
That's right.
Yeah. 15 is a lot in a 45-minute game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's probably what it should be, right? And you play 4 of those. And this is where my abacus, that's 1 hour, and it's over 3 days, and it's only 1 hour of hockey, and we're flying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All that way, and you're driving all that way. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. And this is why we're on this podcast, because it's crazy.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Now, Minnesota does it, in my opinion, the right way, right? Because they are all in the same area, and they also have a lot larger of a pool of players to choose from, right? Whereas us in the Northeast, we have a pool of players, but not like Minnesota. But then I would argue that California probably doesn't have the pool of players that we have here in the Northeast, right? I kind of look at California where you are, like Arizona, Florida, right? I look at you guys have to travel to play, especially to play good competition, right?
Right.
That's hard. I mean, White Nana in Hackensack for a reason.
Yeah. White Nana. If you don't know White Nana, you gotta know White Nana.
Yes, you do. There's some tasty burgers, that's for sure.
Send you 6 sliders there, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
So good. But like, so you guys are forced to travel. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I played the Cal Bears up in like New Hampshire.
Yeah.
When I say I mean my kid, right? Like, but like, I mean, you guys have to travel because you don't have that concentration of ice hockey in Southern California, right?
We do a little bit now. I think it's different from but it's not as concentrated. So it's just, I think what ends up happening is the cream, it's so, I guess, minimal, right? And so that, small pocket of players, like you can't form 4 teams to play. It's going to be 2 teams, right? And I think California, like, you're accustomed to it. You know what you're signing up for, because we were doing it. We were going to Montreal. I was going to Toronto as a kid,
right?
And so we're accustomed to that. And I knew that I had to go to Toronto to train, so I would do it, as a player, for 2 months at a time. Yeah, I would live in Toronto. Wow. Yeah, when I was 10, 11, and 12.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that, and yeah, it's funny. I asked my mom too, and I go, "Hey, like, I used to be on the ice 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, 10 minutes breaks in between. After the 3rd hour, I'd have an hour lunch break, and
jeez,
I would do this, Monday through Friday, and I would ask for more ice at night in Toronto for 3 more hours." Yeah.
Wow.
So, and
this is in the summertime, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
summertime.
Summertime, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it with Dr. Shmushkin?
I was with, I did 6 hours of Shmushkin, and I did 3 hours with Eurocan in Chesapeake.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And your dad was working. So did your mom bring you out there, or did you go out there?
No, my mom brought me out there, and
wow.
Yeah, and then like we had a good friend, Steve Novador, who's actually, He's out from Connecticut. He's a women's D3 coach.
Mhm.
Runs a Yale hockey. So you guys know Yale, right? The Yale
Sure.
boys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he does that, and his mom would take us too. So we go to Boston. I would do Paul Vincent's camp, for weeks at a time in Saugus.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, very
I was a
cool.
little more exposed to the more than a typical California player at the time. So that's, I think, why I
Sure.
have a good understanding of like
Oh, yeah.
it's like in the landscape.
But
Oh,
like
yeah.
as you were saying just about like the, doing the math on like traveling to a tournament, playing 4 games, reduce that down to an hour, reduce that down to how many like minutes you might have the puck on your stick, right? Like now as a dad, still I'm heavily involved with youth coaching, but would your approach for your own kid potentially be any different in terms of like, being, doing it differently with the time that you have, like maybe not traveling as much at certain ages to just stay more locally and work on skills, for example? Is that like what kind of like how does that like factor into like your ideas now as a parent?
It's hard because if you don't do it, then the next guy will.
Mm,
Right.
The next guy might take those kids.
right.
So that's where it becomes challenging. So I try to reduce it. Like I want them to do maybe two things in the spring,
Yep.
a maximum 3, and that's it. Like I
Right.
think I did take a different approach. Like I didn't have my son try out for the brick team
Okay.
at all. Whether he was good enough or bad enough, like it didn't matter. He just didn't do it. I went to
Right.
Yeah.
I went to one event like 2 years prior to the brick, just to kind of see
Mhm.
what it was like. And
Yep.
because I didn't know spring hockey, I only coached older kids. I
Mm,
didn't know what this environment was like, and I just wanted to learn what the environment was like. So I just signed up and didn't do anything else. So
Which one'd you go to?
I went to the one in Boston, the Memorial. I think Memorial, not yeah, the Memorial,
Boston Showdown or the
yeah, Boston
Boston.
Showdown. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
At New England Sports Center with the 10 rinks?
yeah, with the Masters brothers. Yeah, so
Place is sick, isn't it?
it is. And what Peter's doing now next is yeah, pretty
Yeah.
pretty sick. Like he was talking, I would talk to him about it a little bit when I was
Yeah.
out there, but yeah, it shed some light onto how like spring hockey worked a little bit, and like um I was kind of a traditionalist, like, hey, they should be doing other things. He's gonna get
mhm.
burned out.
Right.
But I think it's just it's case by case. I think every player is different, and I think if your player just wants to keep playing, let him play.
Right.
But it's like if he wants time off, or it's okay, let him relax because that runway is long. He might
But
fall.
it goes quick.
Yeah, it goes quick. It goes.
Yeah.
So, FYI,
That's right.
fine print.
That's right, exactly. Read the fine print is right.
But yeah, and that's kind of it shed some light into spring hockey, and so I did a little bit
Yeah.
differently, and like he'll do some stuff with his buddies and like his teammates, and this summer, like maybe and I did have him do some randoms with some random kids because I wanted to see how he interacted with other kids.
Right.
Yeah, and
Kids he wasn't
we
Yeah.
got
used to seeing.
worked right
Yeah.
by these all-star teams, and I'm like, we're kind of a put together team. So yeah,
Right.
that's kind of how I treated the spring, and then this spring it'll be different because it's a little more serious now. We're in terms of like I use the word serious.
We all do, so I understand it.
Won't do it now. It's never gonna happen.
Yes, yes. In the grand scheme of things, it's not, but in our little world, it's serious.
Oh man, it's nonstop. But like, what I'm finding now, like with this team, like we just do local things, and we have a couple like travel tournaments. Next year, like they're gonna play AAA. And in California,
Yeah.
you only have 10A. You don't have 10 AAA. Where everywhere else in the country seems to have 10 AAA,
Yeah.
Right.
which I'm not opposed to. I don't care. Like it's fine. Like label it that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you guys are labeled.
There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's like so. As far as like I don't know what you're doing for your kids, but like yeah, I mean, kids are if he wants to watch video, sure, I'll show you some clips.
Yeah.
It's he
Right.
he has he's the access to a lot of things. It's
Yes, he does.
yeah,
That a lot of kids don't,
mhm.
you know?
So
You know?
Yeah. For my kid, we use Helios. And so like after each game, we'll have his shifts. Since he was, I think, a full ice mite, and I was coaching, we've had video review, like we've used different. Yeah, I'm not joking. And part of the thinking, I'm not
He's not
kidding.
joking.
I'm not kidding. So we did, we
We did
did, we did.
a whole episode on it.
We would do like 20 minutes before like a game. And, part of the thinking was that like, you see kids and it really wasn't coming from a place of being like a lunatic, even though it sounds that way.
Yeah.
But like, like these are kids, they're now playing full ice. The idea of positioning is going to start coming into play, and so like you see kids on their screens all the time. It's like, you guys want to watch screens? All right, come, we're going to watch a screen. And you guys can see a little bit of what it looks like when we're saying on the bench, do this. This is what it looks like. We didn't go crazy with it, but we did show them. It was really just on like mostly breaking out, like how to break out of a zone, where to go, where to be, 20 minutes before a game. But yeah, I would do that with him. And this is something I kind of want to talk to you about also, just all the extra stuff. But then for most of the time, he's gone to like once a week, he'll skate before school. And recently this year, once a week, when he doesn't have practice on Thursdays, he'll do off ice training, to like 30 minutes in like a shooting lane with a coach one-on-one, and then do 30 minutes of like conditioning, speed, strength, agility. But, so, and my son just turned 11. Okay. The video stuff at home with Helios, like he's starting to ask me for it. And sometimes I'd be like, listen, I think it's really important you just watch this thing because we've been talking about it a lot. But from your perspective, and what do you think for the younger age groups? And then obviously you're coaching the older age groups, but the extra stuff, the stuff that doesn't come with like the club tuition, right? Like at what age do you think it's worthwhile? And I get it, every kid is different, so like, let's just, that goes without saying, but like from a broader philosophy, like 10-year-old is too young to look at video and have extra skating lessons, or you think no, go get after it if that's if the kid's down with it.
More is better.
Okay.
Then less is more.
Wow. You just said two different things.
Yeah.
Just says no, but that's kind of where it's a fine line. You have to kind of figure out where your child is at, right? And I would emphasize, like, they say if you can't skate, you can't play. You can still play, but it's just harder, right, to play. If you can't pass, you can't play at the highest level. Yeah, like in terms of like your passing proficiency. So tidbit there, it's like this, for your own son, right? And both of you guys, like anytime they have the puck, just think of themselves as a quarterback. Okay, you're Tom Brady, you're in the pocket, boom, you're gonna find someone, right? You're always delivering, right? And I think passing is a very underestimated skill set, like the passing, because it's an art form. And I think that, like, if you're going to spend time, if you're asking, like, I think that supplementary work helps. I do it for my kid. Like, it's not taxing on the body. It's just, you're working on touches, you're working on like reps.
Yeah.
This is for more the advanced player, right? And hopefully all the listeners are out there, like, you guys are diehard fans, right? Like, go hot, right? If you're not, you're thinking I'm nuts, right? But like for the elite players, like, I know, and I don't want to say elite, but like the players that are a little more further along the curve, you can kind of give them little tidbits here and there. Like, we show video to our kids too, a 10-year-old team, and what we're trying to do is instill, like, they show video at school, in class. Well, they're showing video like on, like Abraham Lincoln.
Totally.
Right. Why not a breakout?
Yeah.
or a power play or a penalty kill.
And like CPA, that's not an accountant. That's change of point of attack. So like that's you start to like to build the habits. And I think at this age, the sponges, I think it's just, you have to know the audience of the kids, and it's tough to do a team, because when you're doing a team, not all, the individuals are going to be like-minded. They're not going to have the same learning apparatuses. They're not going to,
for sure,
retain the same amount of time. So when you're talking about on an individual, like the supplementary work, like the skating, everyone thinks that my kid skates a ton, right? He's only there 3 days a week.
Right.
but you get right now, like he's there Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And he has a team practice Saturday and, team practice. But I do compound it. But I let him pick and choose, like, kind of what session do you want to go out to?
Right.
Where there's other, and a lot of people are compounding too. So, like, why not make it a 2-hour trip instead of a 1 hour?
Right.
Which,
more efficient.
but you have to know what that first hour is and what the second hour is.
Yeah.
Right. So it's fine, but make sure you're going in planned. And I think this is helpful for anybody, because if you're going to do it anyway, you're all crazy. Right. So do it. Just be efficient about it. Right. Be efficient.
Might as well. Right. We're going to do it.
Like I would, you have to look at the workload. Right. And, like, do I recommend it doing all the time? No. Like I think the skating is very important. Come to my hockey camp this summer, Scott, James, you guys are more than welcome to bring your kids out.
Amazing.
That would be awesome, by the
I'll
way.
actually be on the East Coast for a little thing out there.
Are you where?
Oh,
Yeah, I think we did a camp at Tabor. So we did a camp at Tabor, and, like, it was
okay,
like an overnight boarding camp, but it was kind of cool. But that's the time I got east. But the skating, to me, it's imperative that, like, your edge work and you're diligent about it, because it helps you. I mean, it doesn't necessarily going to make you a great hockey player, but it's going to allow you to play with good players.
It'll give you the platform.
It'll give you the platform. And from there, let's see what you can learn. Right. And from there, like, strength and conditioning, I think it's fine for kids to do sprints and stuff like that. I would probably encourage, like, mixing in other sports, right, while you're doing it too. Because I think it's just, they need some time to decompress.
right.
I'm a big fan of MMA, or not MMA, but jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
So my kids
both of our kids do it.
Yeah, both my kids do it too, and they take golf lessons now too, and
nice.
So something a little bit different. You mix it up, and they're so young, and we don't know what they're gonna,
what's gonna stick. I actually have my son. He's gotten into it all started with wanting to learn how to do a standing backflip. And I don't know why he thought that was, like, the thing that he needed to do, but he has to do that. And so we've been taking him to a gymnastics place nearby, and he works out with, one of the coaches there, just doing, like, tumbling and, like, other type of, like, work. And he loves mountain biking, so, like, those are
other stuff.
So, like, we tried lacrosse, baseball he was never interested in, tried a few things, but those are the things that, like, he's gymnastics and mountain biking are the two things that are sticking with him now. So we're like, go do that.
Yeah. 100%.
My kid didn't want to do anything else other than hockey. We tried lacrosse. It didn't work. We tried baseball. We tried soccer. He does Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he plays ice hockey. That's his thing. And he likes to work out.
Yeah, I think it depends on what stage they're at. And it's not necessarily an age, right? I think it's where their mindset is at. And, like, I know, like, my kid's a little bit further behind, like, in terms of, like, his maturity level, feels like, where I see another player on his team, their maturity level is, amplified by 10, right? It seems like, and, like, there's ones that are, negative 10. So I think each player is going to be different, and, like, each family is going to be different in what you can do. And I think a lot of it too, you can do it at home. Right.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of like that's where the really good player comes out. It's the one that just does it on their own. And, like,
no one's looking.
And I know, as dads, we yearn for that.
Totally.
100% we do. Please go do it without me having to ask you.
Let me catch you shooting pucks.
Yeah, you want to come home and you want to see them, like, cranking shots off, sweating, and then their jump spots, and they're working. They got their knee. Then you get your Coors Light, and you're good.
That's right.
But we go through it. Like, it's for real. Like, it's for real. It's every day. It's like, but why? Like, why do we go through it as dads? And it's just human nature, because you want to see your kids do well. And, like, but is it is it your thing, or is it their thing? Right.
That's such an important piece.
Yeah.
Such an important piece, because so many, it seems, especially with the younger kids, that, like, the parents are just living vicariously through their children, and some of it can be pretty obvious, and then sometimes it's less obvious. And, like, for myself, that's the whole, like, push-pull thing. It's like, my kid doesn't know what he doesn't know. And as a parent, I'm here to like help him realize the best version of himself. And that's going to be to help push him beyond what he would probably do on his own. But when am I doing it for my reasons or for like his best interest? And, the number of times I go back and forth being like, just back off. Oh, no, I got to push. No, just back off. No, push. And that's like every week. It's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Scott seesaws a lot like that. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
That is true. It's like you think and then you're like, no, I got to put my foot down on the gas pedal. You're like, no, I'll get my foot down back on the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. Like and now I'm coaching my kid too. Like I'm assistant, and my good colleague and one of my best friends, Noah Clark, he's coaching it. I mean, it's hard. It's dealing with that. Like,
oh yeah.
And people hear hard, it's like it's hard in the normal. Like I guess the prereqs of it being hard is that like you have to deal with your kid and the ice time and this and that, right? And make sure you're teaching other kids, which I feel like I am.
Yeah.
The hard part is like the relationship that he and I have, right? And then parents kind of getting to see me in my workplace and how I respond to my kid in my workplace.
Yeah.
With their kids in my workplace, right? And that's stressful. And like every decision you make, like it doesn't really matter. It's like, well, he gets it. Well, it's because it's Alex, right? And
like, what are the optics?
Yeah, and no matter what I do and however I flip it, like it's always going to be there's going to be a hater, right?
Yeah.
Plural.
Yep.
Plural.
Yes. No question about it.
Yeah, and that's what I have to deal with as a dad and being a coach and within the organization and having an academy too, right? That's we have a lot of ice and we train a lot of players and kind of things are a little bit under a microscope to some degree.
Those academies are popping up everywhere. Do you guys do ice then school? Is that how it works?
We do school then ice.
School then ice.
And what's the name of the academy, just so our listeners?
Optimum Hockey Academy.
Optimum, and that where in California?
It's in Irvine, California.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so as far as the academy goes, what age group is it for? Is it when is it? What's the youngest? What's the oldest kid you're gonna have there?
So our academy is different too because like we offer like after school programming too. So we offer kids that go to traditional school and kids that want to do full-time school. So it's typically the grades 5 to 12.
5 to 12. Okay.
Yeah. And we have
so it's 5 through high school. Got it.
Yeah, and we have figure skaters at the academy now this year as well.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
So you do both hockey and figure skating.
Got
it. So how many kids do you have total in the school right now?
Probably around 30. So
right. That sounds about right. That doesn't surprise me.
We were at 75 and then we downsized everything, like staff. It was a lot and I don't think we were ready for it. So
right. Do you guys have, is it like online schooling that you guys bring in, or do you guys have teachers in the building?
So we partner with a charter school, which is online, but we bring in teachers.
Very cool.
Amazing.
Nice. My son did the X-Hockey Academy out of Bridgewater for the Rockets from 4th grade through 7th. And then this year I took him closer to home and doing something a little different. It's still an academy, but it's called Parisi Academy. It's not focused toward ice hockey. It's focused toward like just athletic training.
Right.
But very similar. Yeah. They're the non-traditional schools, in my opinion, are popping up all over the place these days. Right.
They are, yeah. And I think it's more prevalent anyway with the school system the way it is. I think it's
absolutely.
Yeah, everyone's looking for alternatives. So
correct. I agree with you.
Yeah, I wonder too, like with why we're going through all this, like as parents and people within the hockey world, like your expectations, James, might be different from mine for your kid, right? And Scott, not even so much the kid, right? It's the expectations from like doing this, right? And the experience. And I look back and like, I always go back and because history has a tendency to repeat itself and there's good things to learn from history, although it's, it's in the past. I just remember like when my dad and I went through it, like, I don't really remember any of the games. Yeah. I remember like the food we ate. Because I love food and I love white meat.
Yes.
Shout out White Manna.
If you have any good diners out there, let me know.
All right, we'll do.
And like just the memories and like the teammates that you kind of got to know along the way, the relationships that you built, that you forged over the years, and if you're good, you're good, and you kind of move on. It kind of works itself out. Like I think when you look back, but now that I'm going through it now as a coach, right, without my kid, it was kind of the same thing. It's just like it kind of works itself out, like the good are the good. But those players did invest a lot of time into their game.
Sure.
I will tell you that, to your point, Scott, like you're asking like what's too much, and at 10 those kids were skating a lot. 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, not a day but like a week.
Right.
Like 10 to 12 a week. And I hear a lot of parents talking about like, did you hit the 10-hour mark this week? I'm like, huh? Like there's a mark out there.
Right.
But I'm like, I find myself, did he hit 10 hours? Did he hit 10 hours this week?
Right.
So it's changed a little bit in that regard, but like, ultimately the good players they find their way, and I think that's how it'll work. But now with the landscape changing, it's, son, you're gonna have to go to the library today.
Right, exactly.
Get your abacus out now.
That's right.
There
exactly.
you go.
So we could literally go with you for hours and hours and hours. So we have to kind of wrap it up a little bit. But is there anything you want to leave like our parents with? Something that like I don't know, a nugget of wisdom, from you. And we're gonna have to have you on again because this is a phenomenal conversation. But is there anything you'd like to leave our parents with that maybe they should know before you get off with us? Not to put you on the spot.
It's very simple, right? To me, even in California, with the weather being, notably as nice as it is,
Oh yeah,
you have bad weather too, right? You have good weather, but you get through it, right? And it's like day to day. And I think that's ultimately, I mean, we're not in dire straits. So it's like, let's be grateful for the moment that we have with our children. Let's be grateful for the air that we breathe, right? Like the simple things to be grateful for. I think ultimately, like, we lose sight of what that is, in the midst of like chasing something. And what are we chasing?
it's true.
Right? You're chasing greatness, like for what? Right? It's what is greatness to your child? Have you ever asked them, what does it mean to be great? Right? It could have nothing to do with sport, and
Sure.
I think that word great is a great thing to have, because you have to be grateful too, to be great. I think it works hand in hand. Ultimately, like, I think we lose sight of that as parents, as coaches. As parents, it's hard. It's the for all the parents out there, or the dads, or the whatever moms, whoever's listening. By the way, Crazy Hockey Mom is coming up next.
So it kind of all encompasses. You're not wrong about that.
Well, yeah, for all the parents out there, like, it's, you're in a vehicle, just enjoy it. It might rain, your car might break down. It might be smooth sailing, but you're in your vehicle, enjoy your vehicle, be grateful for your vehicle, and like, enjoy the journey, because it's, it's something that it's going to create memories that are good and bad and memorable. But enjoy it and be thankful for it, because you only get to do this once.
So true.
Very well said. Alex, man, this was awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Alex, this is great.
Well, thanks, guys. Sorry I went through so many rabbit holes.
No, man.
No.
Our
I feel like we got to pick up more though. Like, we got to do this again. Like,
we will 100% do it again.
Because I don't think we like hit like.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of things we didn't hit, but but what we dove deep. We dove deep, and it was super insightful, and just hearing your story, is just is amazing. Congratulations on all your successes, really and truly. Good luck to your boy. How many children do you have? I'm so sorry I didn't ask it.
I have 2. I have a son and a daughter.
Okay, right on. Well, best of luck to both of them with what they got going on right now this coming weekend. Have fun Halloween tonight.
Yeah, tonight Halloween, and we're going to Phoenix tomorrow on a flight to go play. 3 games.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Well,
Things we do. I mean, we don't have any games this weekend. That's the hard part. Like
yeah,
we're in that situation. So,
yeah,
but to the players out there too, like to make sure to the parents, I think for the players particularly, like this is one last thing, Scott, is that um every parent gets a supply list, right? From their school for their child. Correct? I would assume.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
totally.
Yeah, every player needs a supply list too. And what that supply list looks like is very different for everybody.
Mm. Yeah.
And what you want to put on your supply list, because some might not be aligned with like hockey goals,
Right.
what do they want in life? Like, what are these things? And like, that's kind of for me, like I ask my older players that, for the player's perspective, like you have to think deeper. What is success to you?
Right.
Why do you feel like
Okay.
failure is failure? I think that's the one thing I would encourage you to as well. Like when your kids get a little bit older,
Mhm.
talk about the emotional IQ. And like,
Sure.
you're doing video right now with your kids, Scott. Like I would like in that moment, like when they make a mistake, how did you feel? Like,
Sure.
what
Yeah.
was your emotion? Like,
Yeah. Well, he usually says like, "You see that? That was buns, Dad." That was buns.
maybe, yeah. See, when they're a little bit older, they'll say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was scared to turn that over there." Well,
Sure.
why,
No.
why are you scared? Like, so those are the things that like little tidbits for you guys.
Yeah.
That I would start to kind of like slowly dive into, because the emotional part, like I was nervous. Well, I didn't.
Mhm.
You never talk about nervous. Like, oh, I just didn't want to make a mistake. That's usually the comment. The mistake is not a feeling,
Right.
right? You have to get behind the feeling. And I was
Right.
nervous that, I was going to turn it over. Well, let's talk about your nervousness. Don't talk about
Right.
failure.
Right. The failure is like the symptom of
Mhm.
like the emotion.
Yeah. People lose sight of that a lot. So I think that is an extra tier, extra level. This is more for you guys. And like, if there's anything to this, like I'm finding it very helpful with my older players, because we broke down video and like there was a weak side deep pinch. James, I think I talked to you about this, right? And
Yeah,
like,
you did. Yeah.
forward comes up and like he's about to get hammered, and we freeze frame it right there. And then we're like, "What do you feel?" He's like, "I'm gonna get killed."
Mm.
Right? Well, getting hit is not really emotion. So what's your feeling?
Right. 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 He
Yeah.
was
I'm
probably
scared.
afraid at the time, I would think, right? Yeah.
I'm scared.
Right. Next time we have you on, we need to dive more into that because, like you said, you and I chatted about that on the phone. So next time we have you on, we're gonna have to go more into that side of the game because that's a side that is very real. Um, we talked about the emotional part of the game a little bit, Scott and I. That's a very real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because when you talk to the players too, you're like, even like I'm coaching older players, so like, and I ask them like, and I'm like, who feels like they have to play hard for their family, and like a lot, like, or their parents, and like,
Yeah, a lot of them put their hand.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, it's real. Like, it's not just when they're young, right? Whose parents are hard on you, and like you kind of know,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And like, hey, I'm like, just enjoy the game. And he's 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's, my last event, like that's what I talked to the players about, like in the locker room when we were playing before we started the weekend. I said, listen, I know you guys are a lot of stress and a lot of pressure from your parents, because I'm a parent and I hammer my kid. So don't mess
Yeah,
up.
I was gonna say I kind of think I do too, which I need to
harder.
stop.
No, but that stuff is real. So just for you guys to know
Yes,
later
it
on
is.
too, because it stays, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
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 No, I appreciate that.
Alex, man,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dude.
This
It's
was
a pleasure to
awesome.
meet you.
Yeah, and we're gonna, and I'm coming to Tabor, by the way. I will take you up on that, and we're definitely gonna have to have you back on and do this again, man. This was great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
for
for
sure.
the time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Take care, Alex.
See you, bud.
Bye.
See you.
See you, pal. Great movie.
All right, everyone. Welcome back from that interview with Alex Kim. Dude, this
Yeah, man.
guy's something else. I mean,
He's fun. He's a fun dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much knowledge, just
Yes.
and has almost kind of seen all the different things from billeting, from non-traditional hockey, like,
blind
upbringings,
dating.
all of it.
I mean, like
Playing in Asia.
yeah, blind dating in Asia
Yeah.
and eating rabbit. I mean, yeah, man, he had a very, like I said in the intro, he had a crazy path.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
fun
without a
guy to
doubt.
chat with though, man. Real fun guy to chat with.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
the especially like that time when he went off to junior. You know, I thought it was interesting when he said, we were just talking about like when he kind of knew that like college was kind of like the next destination,
Hmm.
and it was just interesting to hear him
Yeah.
say, like, for someone that was like so, invested in the game, that like it was he wasn't looking too
He had
far in
no
front of
idea. He
himself.
had no idea what was in front of him.
Yeah.
No clue. It's almost like he was oblivious to it the entire time. You
Yes.
know, because I think he said during the interview, he's like, I just want to go score as many goals as I can.
Yeah.
And like everything else was, and then he started getting invited to like development camps, stuff like that. And then like colleges started knocking on his door. And then like that fell by the wayside. And then the colleges came back and started knocking on his door again.
Yep.
Like I think he said he took like 9 official visits. Like 9.
Right. Right. That's
Because
a lot.
he got to start it over again. Right. I mean, and dude, he went to some crazy places. I think he said like Ohio State. Um, he mentioned like Harvard, Brown, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like blanking on which ones he took visits to. Like Minnesota Duluth, I think was one of them. Denver, I think was one of them. Like, man, he he said and I think he said like one of the funny things we're talking about colleges now. I think he said like one of the selling features. I called it a selling feature. But one of the things that they were telling him when he was going to go to Miami, Ohio, was that the ratio of girls to guys was like 5-1, right?
Yeah, and he referred didn't he refer to it as a selling feature? Or no?
I think I did. I think he
Yeah,
was
oh,
saying
yeah,
that he's like, yeah, I think he said they were telling you about it. I'm like, of course, why wouldn't they be?
yeah,
You
right,
know?
right, right, right.
But yeah, man, he made the college rounds. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
but like also like a story of like resilience, like
Yeah.
especially like when, and obviously don't know the details of kind of like where things kind of went sideways a bit in
Mhm.
college, and he kind of had to restart, and he was one of those like rare transfer portal like
Yeah.
players back in the day.
Yeah.
But so like, maybe it would have been easy for someone to kind of hang it up, but no, like he kept on going. And then not, and then also the way he decided to choose where he went when he went to Colorado,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
he had like friends there and he wanted to play with his boys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about
Yeah.
seeking out if you were to like translate that right
Mhm.
into like what kind of we talk about all the time, it's like not
Yeah.
necessarily chasing the letter, like
Right.
probably could have gone to a better hockey school, right? And then at the same time, like he chose, like he prioritized like fun and enjoyment, like
Yeah.
being with people that he wanted to play with. And like that was, I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of like what we talk about parents like prioritizing now, like prioritizing the passion, the fun, the love for the game.
Yeah.
And you don't
It's
need to
true.
chase the letters, and it's about development. And look, then he went on to play pro. Like it's amazing.
I think it's funny you mentioned that about like what was important to him, like when he was going to picking colleges. I think, Harvard was one of the first colleges that came knocking on his door, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And when he said that, I was like, no brainer, right? Go there.
Right.
And he said, like, I didn't think it was fair and I didn't want to go to Harvard because I knew I wanted to go like all in on hockey. And I thought that I was going to fail out.
Right.
Right. And then he's like, so I didn't want to go there because I knew I was going to be all in on hockey and I didn't want to flunk out of school. Right. Because Harvard was probably going to be challenging, academic
Well,
wise.
because
Right.
they care about the grades too.
Right.
He made
That's
that
what
a
I mean.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So it was probably going to be a more challenging school academically. But then he said, like, and I didn't want to go there and just put all my time into all my studies and get good grades because then my hockey would suffer. And then that's not fair to the hockey team.
Right.
Right. So that was kind of like an interesting kind of like conundrum that he found himself in, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, look, there's obviously plenty of players that go to Ivy Leagues and they have elite hockey careers, and they also like play out their eligibility. So
Yeah.
like, but that he's highlighting the fact that like it's tougher, I think, ultimately at an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
He also, it's also the money thing too, because they don't give scholarships for sports. So like that's another angle. So
Yeah.
look, I mean, just again, there's like everyone's going to have a different path, and clearly, he was passionate about it, and his passion hasn't wavered.
Uh-huh.
Like immediately into coaching, working with youth,
Yeah.
developing kids, a hockey academy.
Yeah.
And like I was thinking about this also, and this conversation made me think of that. And as I've gotten older and gotten back in touch with the game, like this is my way of kind of like staying connected, and like I'm not calling this a career, but what I'll call is like I'm involved with like hockey vis-a-vis this podcast, and like
Mhm.
I'm having these
Sure you are.
conversations with people, and so
Yeah.
I'm getting like it's scratching that itch of wanting to be a part of like the quote unquote game, broadly speaking, right? I still play, but
Yeah,
I
you
was just
do.
even thinking about like Otto, right? And encouraging him when the time is right.
Uh-huh.
Like why don't you maybe like look into becoming an official? Well, take a coaching class, or like whatever the things are, because you
Right.
never know how this is all going to play out. And
It's
like the
true.
earlier you kind of get your foot in the door with some of this stuff, because it's hard. Like you heard Bob Mancini, and of course, super unique. There's very few people working at USA Hockey, broadly speaking, but
Yeah.
the to have a job in hockey that like and to be able to make a living out of it, like
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
it's pretty cool, and it doesn't,
Yeah.
unless you're a pro,
Doesn't suck.
it's not that easy. Even Angela was
Yeah.
talking about how it's not easy,
That's true.
so all
That's
I'm
true.
saying is it got me thinking, just like the conversation with him and how he's continued to go right into coaching, that like kind of planting some seeds early, for anyone that's passionate about the game.
Yeah.
Like, it might come in handy when a playing career is finished, and you
Yeah.
might make some connections early on. So anyway,
It's
stuff that I
true.
just started thinking about, honestly.
No, that makes sense to me, But yeah, man, it was a fun interview. I enjoyed talking to him. He likes to we can do a whole nother episode on just like traveling to like hockey places and eating like good food in the area.
Mm.
Like he mentioned White Manna when he comes here to Jersey.
Oh yeah.
I mean, anybody
Have
who
you
doesn't know
been?
to White Manna?
Yeah.
Sure, dude.
Oh, okay.
Have
Just
I
making
been to
sure.
White Manor? Of course I've been to White Manor.
Okay. I don't
Anybody
know.
who lives in the North Jersey area that hasn't been to White Manor, I mean, shame on you.
Should go.
Yeah, you should go.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm not even gonna tell you what it is if you don't know about it. If you're in the
Go look
North
it up.
Jersey area, go to White Manor in Hackensack.
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed.
Yeah. Well, you
know?
might be disappointed with the line.
That you might be disappointed with, but you won't be disappointed with the food.
Fair.
But yeah, so he likes to travel to like play hockey and go find like the local fun foods to go like sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
Dude.
do a whole episode of just that with him.
100%.
But
Yeah.
man, he's a fun dude. I enjoyed that interview.
Likewise.
Yeah. We're gonna have to go to his. I think he said he was coming out here to run a power skating clinic.
Yeah. Oh,
in
we
the
need to like
summer.
figure that out. Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah, I think he said Connecticut. Is that right? Does that sound right? Something like that. New York, Connecticut, wherever.
Somewhere.
Yeah. So as we get closer to that, we need to do that because that sounds cool.
Yeah, we should actually post that.
We should post that. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
find
take
it,
it
post
off.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
Got to do more posting, dude.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we'll clean up our social media a little bit and and start cranking them out more.
Cleaning it up would imply that there's a lot there to be organized, and I think
fair.
I think we need to feed the monster.
Fair. Yes, we do need to feed the monster actually because we keep getting
Hockey
more
monster?
and more. The hockey monster. Yeah, man, the hockey monster. Although Jamie has not been feeding the hockey monster recently.
No, huh?
Jamie has been Jamie's been taking it easy on the hockey monster.
Okay.
The hockey monster has not been clawing at my wallet recently.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I haven't sharpened my kids' skates in like.
Well, this might answer all of your skating questions and concerns.
I haven't sharpened my kids' skates in like.
Why?
Like a month.
Why?
Because he never tells me that his skates are dull. Like he never says anything about it. So this was my experiment.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, this was it must have been, Scott, it had to be 5 weeks. Had to be 5-6 weeks. So literally just the other day he comes to me and goes, Dad, he goes, I think I should sharpen my skates. I go, yeah? What makes you say that? He goes, I don't know, I think the right one's dull. I go, oh yeah? Okay. I go, sounds good, bud. Before you skate next, we'll sharpen them for you. Dude, 6 weeks? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah. Well, it's actually funny you say that.
That was my experiment.
It's funny you say that because we had a second set of blades with Otto's last pair of skates. We didn't get a second pair of blades. And
right.
So I was just in the habit of like regularly changing them. And that's not happening because as soon as I take off like the dull ones, I'd put on the sharp ones, get the dull ones sharpened. And then, like it's not like I even needed to ask him whatever. I would just change the blades. But now that I'm not doing that because there's only one pair and whatever, he also is not asking me about his skates. So I feel like,
dude,
similar.
Like, I need him to start being like accountable for his own shit.
Yeah, man. Well,
like I need you to start. Like I will say this: he doesn't lose shit. Like there's kids on his teams that like in the fucking team thread,
right?
Every week, who's got our polo, who's got our left glove, who's got our right shin guard, who's got our helmet, our water bottle. Like, funny you said water bottle, actually, dude. So I'm sitting there with your lovely wife yesterday, and Otto comes out, and Otto wanted to go out for the next. So he sat in front of me, and your wife was sitting across from me, next to Otto, and he took his jersey off, but he didn't take his gear off because he was waiting for Dominic to come out of the locker room, and one of Otto's parents was like this, like looking around, and he's like, and Orly's like, you all right? Like, did you lose something? And he's like, such and such lost his water bottle. And Otto turns around and he goes, he's got the small one, doesn't he? And the guy's like, yeah. He goes, yep, this is it. He was drinking it. He had the kid's water bottle.
I took the other kid's water bottle.
I was drinking it. Yeah. So yeah, that was very funny. That was last night. So, but I will say this with Dominic, he doesn't lose his stuff, but like, I'll give you a perfect example. Recently, Dominic's been touching his face mask a lot.
Okay.
And he's like, and his hair's longer, right? So he's like, my hair comes down, and I have to push it up so my hair goes out of my eyes. I'm like, okay, Dom. So either we need to tighten your helmet so it doesn't come down, or we need to push your hair back. And if that's not working, we need to cut it, or we need to like push your hair back with like a something.
Right.
Like not difficult. So I gave him the something to push his hair back, wanted no part of it. Right.
Okay.
So what's he doing in the next game? Pushing his face mask. He pushes his face mask up, which pushes the helmet up, which then apparently the hair goes out of his eyes. Like, I mean, I'm like, Dominic, you need to start you need to start fixing these things if they're a problem, right? Like, you need to be responsible for your helmet. You need to be responsible for your blades. Like, if your blades are not sharp, like, you have to say something.
Right.
And number one, you need to figure out when they're dull and go, okay, something's not right here. So he didn't tell me for like 6 weeks, Scott.
Wow.
I was like, bro, what do you, like, oh, your right one's a little dull. Okay, we'll get it taken care of. Like, seriously, buddy? Like,
you should have been like, all right, we'll get the right one sharpened.
Yeah, exactly. So like, dude, Scott, I'm telling you, it's been like 6 weeks. It has to be 5-6 weeks at least. It just comes to me literally yesterday. Oh, by the way, Dad, he goes, I played pretty well, and my right skate's a little dull. I go, okay. Okay, right skate's dull. Got it. Check. We'll take care of it. No, that's worry. Yeah, funny, right?
All right. Well, listen, man, he's turning a corner.
Fingers crossed, Scott.
So listen, if next time it's only 5 weeks and then 4 weeks and then 3 weeks, then you're moving in the right direction.
Yes, and it's funny. I was actually on the Sparks website this morning, just kind of like poking around, But I'm telling you, the hockey monster is not getting in my wallet right now. Not letting him do it.
No. Keep the vaults closed.
Not letting him do it.
Locked.
I've been spending way too much money on this game, unless it's really necessary.
No, go take you and your lovely wife out to dinner.
That's the idea, buddy.
Instead of a Sparks machine.
Are you saying the Sparks machine costs the same as a dinner these days?
I'm just saying that you could take her out to a very lovely evening, and I'm not saying they're equivalent in cost, although surely you could spend that much money on dinner.
You definitely could, no question.
Definitely, but I'm just saying.
You as an ex-chef know that well.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, especially if you have anything with truffles on them.
Truffles, especially if you're drinking wine.
Oh, yeah.
Have a cocktail or two before dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe do like a 5 to 7 course tasting menu.
And you're at a Sparks machine in a heartbeat.
You get there. No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, listen, let's wrap
man.
this one up. It was
Yep.
a great one.
41 in the books.
Yeah, man. 41's in the books. 42 up next, and
Dude,
we're going to keep plugging along.
50? We're closing in on 50?
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%.
Dude, it's wild.
It doesn't feel like that long.
No, we are closing in on 8 months.
It doesn't feel that long.
No, it doesn't. I agree.
And we definitely started talking about it like last September, if not last August.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but we're doing good. Yeah, a lot of really cool interviews coming for you guys. Please share the show, subscribe, leave us a review, please. And God, please, somebody send this to somebody in Alaska. My God.
All right, dude.
All right, buddy.
Good stuff, man.
I'll speak to you later. Be
All right,
good.
be good, man.
All right,
Later.
see you later.